Welcome to this presentation from Let's Play Live. We work hard so you can play.
Hello and welcome to the Let's Play Live CSGO Alpha Invitational, coming at you live from the Sky Tower here in Auckland. It's a pleasure to have you all here this evening. My name is Dallas Easy Fighty. Joining me here on the desk as per usual, it's going to be Thomas Blackout Richmond. And if it's your first week here, let's just have a quick rundown as to how the tournament works, just so you guys can see obviously what we're dealing with here. So 6 teams, 3 here by invitation, 3 here by way of online qualifier, competing in a 5-week round robin, duking it out for these final 3 spots. Those top 3 teams will play 2 weeks of LAN finals here live from the Sky Tower, competing for $10,000 cash. And I mean, what do you think about this tournament? What does it mean for CS players in New Zealand and Australia?
This is an awesome opportunity to be able to play in at such an awesome atmosphere like the Sky Tower. It's really one of a kind, and it really is taking that extra step up in the community, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait. And we've obviously had 2 weeks so far of just non-stop action, but it is indeed week number 3. Can't wait to obviously get into all of these games. But first up, we've got some big news. One of our teams here, Knights, have been picked up by a new organization in the form of Dark-Sided. So this is going to be very interesting. What do you think this means for the team and obviously them moving forward?
It's very good news. Dark-Sided are one of the most prestigious organizations in Oceania, and the Knights, the last few weeks, or the month I should say, they've really been playing well as a team, and I think they've justified the pickup. So they're going to get a lot more support with this organization, and it will allow them to push on as a team. So all in all, it's definitely good news.
Well, very interesting, and we'll see how they play under that new banner. But if you are just joining us, let's have a quick look at the standings coming out from week number 2 and see how these teams stack up against each other. So our 2 tournament favourites there up the top, Tainted Minds and Greyhound Gaming duking it out there for the first place position. Tainted Minds barely ahead there, just with a few rounds difference. Now in the middle of the pack we see Dark-Sided and Corvidae still looking to fight over that 3rd place spot, trying to get themselves to the finals here on LAN. And then down the bottom there we see LOL123 and Order still looking to pick themselves up their first win. But let's have a look at tonight's matchups just to see what we have to look forward to. First up, Tainted Minds taking on Order. Going to be a big one for the Order boys, looking to pick themselves up that first win, and obviously Tainted Minds looking to keep themselves up on the top, wanting to set a very big standard with that. After that we have Corvidae taking on LOL123. Now this is a big one for me for tonight. We're really looking to see obviously LOL123 get themselves their first win on the board, and with Corvidae obviously looking to scrap their way up and challenge Dark-Sided for that 3rd place spot. And finally Dark-Side will be taking on Greyhound Gaming. So a lot of great matchups there this evening, and I mean, we will talk about Tainted Minds and Order in just a moment, but the big one for me, obviously LOL123 taking on Corvidae. How do you feel about this matchup?
This is, as I would say, like a crunch game. I would say Dark-Sided, LOL123 and Corvidae, they're all punching for that 3rd slot at the LAN. So if you can get a win over your rival in this game, it really does give you a big opportunity in making that 3rd spot, especially when there's only BO1 games. You don't really have much time for error, so these games really are crucial. And
the other thing as well is that LOL123 have had a tough first couple of weeks. So I mean, how do you think that plays on their minds, coming into this, still having 0 wins?
Having 0 wins is never good, but in all honesty, if they just look at the games that they've played and the teams they've played the 2 teams that are going to make the LAN. So if they think about it realistically, they have to play each game as a best of 1. They just need to take it 1 game at a time, win each game, and they'll happily make the finals.
Very good insight there, Tom. And now obviously we're going to talk a little bit about Greyhound taking on Dark-Sided. So for them, their first game under the new banner, maybe a little bit of nerves, a little bit of pressure. How do you think they're feeling?
I think they should be rather relaxed as a team. They've played enough games to know that joining another organization doesn't really change that much, apart from they have more options as a team. So I feel like they'll come into the game with not so much pressure, knowing as they are the underdogs for the game as well. And the way Greyhounds have been playing recently, not many people are going to expect them to win, so they don't have an awful lot to prove.
Well, maybe there's a little bit of confidence coming from that, feeling a little bit legitimized after the big pickup. So, we might see some big stuff coming out from Darksided. But let's have now a chat about our first matchup of the night. Tainted Minds taking on Order, or Disorder as we're calling them now, obviously, since the boys are a little bit overseas there. But yes, this one, is a big one. Obviously, Tainted Minds looking to keep their top spot. This is going to be a very, very tough game for Order. Now, what do they need to do to get themselves in this match?
I feel like the last few weeks their teamwork has been lacking a bit. They've tried a bit too much on their individual skill, which again this week it's just not going to work versus Tainted Minds. They're probably the most skilled individual team in the country, along with their tactics being on par as well. So I would say they need to bring a lot more team play. They need to have maybe some executes, some nice flashes, some nice trading with their teammates, and really bring the game to Tainted Minds.
Well, a little bit of news for everyone out there at home as well. We do hear that Raz is going to be filling in for the side of Order this evening as well. So we did see Raz substitute actually in one of the earlier weeks as well for Corvidae, and he was quite a standout player for them there. So I mean, this might be that X factor that they were looking for coming into this matchup. But we'll have to see. Obviously, anyone else on the side of Order that we should be watching out for, because obviously Tainted Minds, they are a force to be reckoned with.
For the Order team, I would like to see Haz have a good game. He's very well known in the New Zealand scene, and he's got a lot of potential. He has some very good aim, and he's a very good team player. The last few weeks, I think he's struggled a little bit, but I'd like to see what he can bring to the table tonight.
Well, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the action. Tainted Minds taking on Order. Let's throw it over to our casters. Nutters and Wayfarer, take it away, lads.
Yes, thank you very much, Dallas, and welcome everybody. We are here in the Sky Tower live, broadcasting straight out to you whether you're watching on Sky or Twitch. We've got a couple of amazing matchups tonight. They can decide almost the entire league tonight, depending on how they go. Obviously, if we do see, Tainted Minds come out over the top of Order, they're going to be looking good to hit it right at the top of the table.
Yeah, Tainted Minds, they're ready, they're adaptable. They're going to bring their A game tonight and lock it up, and that's going to secure their spot in the finals. I think we've seen a lot from them, and they have improved week to week. In fact, I'm really surprised with what they bring to all these teams, back to back. They are super impressive.
Yeah, I think hopefully if Tainted Minds are able to win, we might, it kind of solidifies that they will be at the top. Greyhound still have to beat Darksided later on, and I suppose the key for them is if Darksided actually come out strong, they'll be happy that they've been recently picked up. I mean, that might just bring a little bit of a boost to them, and if Greyhound aren't too careful, we never know, they might actually get caught out.
Yeah, I mean, Tainted Minds starting on CT, on train, that's super impressive. For them, that's a great start already. I am surprised that they have got train, and I'm surprised that they've got CT to start the match, but I'm excited. And one of the things that I've been looking out for just recently is Ints, and he has been coming into form, and I'm talking, he's coming into form like he was when he was playing for Chiefs. That's how he was a star player for Chiefs, one of the best players, and just recently we've seen him rise, and for Tainted Minds, that's a scary prospect. Is this what lifts them to the top of Oceania?
Yeah, it's the difference between Tainted Minds being at the top, maybe having your Chiefs up there, maybe having your Greyhound. You've got a few different teams that can be there. And I suppose if I was looking at the Tainted Minds squad, what we saw last week, we saw Zeusy. And that 4K with the Deagle on Mirage was, I believe that was one of the most viewed clips of the week. And overall, I'm going to have to say I think that if he can come out popping tonight, I'd really like to see him just absolutely hit it off. If we can see him come through, I feel like this is one of those ones that could go either way. If Tainted Minds absolutely drop down and really don't perform.
I think that's one thing that we don't see from Tainted Minds. I think they're classy week to week. I'm really backing Tainted Minds tonight to win, and I'm taking them 16-6.
So we got a score prediction in here. I remember last week you went in with a score prediction, and you got at least one of them right. Probably not going to come in with.
I think I only got one in.
I'm probably happy enough to say that Tainted Minds will win this. I feel bad for saying that, especially against Order. We love to see Raz and Haz just the as combo. Maybe that can come out. Maybe that can pull New Zealand through.
Yeah, I mean, they are a new squad, and they got plenty of ability. They're pickup game players, and I don't think they're ready for this. I don't think this is a team individually their skill level is up to this. more than capable. But being able to jump a group of players together with a huge amount of skill and then go up against Tainted Minds like that is not something easily done. Like, there's so much intricate details with this game, like the teamwork, the communication, leadership. I mean, in Tainted Minds, they don't just have an IGL, they have a coach, and they have players who like role play really well. Leadership comes down to picking up the bomb and running that to the site, or being a role player who watches the flank.
I'll be pretty honest with you. I don't think the coach can pick up the bomb and run it to the site. But it does come down to that leadership, and you do wonder whether it is Haz leading this team, whether it's Luke, whether it's Raz. I mean, even if Raz is standing in, he's an amazing AWPer at the best of times. Coming down to it, maybe even we don't know exactly how it's going to go. I'd like to think that if Order can just put those top fraggers together. That's the key. I don't think we've seen it yet. They've tried to play, they've done sort of the puggish group sort of team plays, but now I think maybe it just takes each individual to shine on their own.
Yeah, and that's possible. If these guys hype up, like if they build up some chemistry throughout the game, I mean, that's what they need. That we saw last week with Noisia, how he lifted his team and almost, brought a comeback just by getting hot. It looks like a transfer spray 3K and almost killed the bomb diffuser. Like, that's exceptional. That's sensational. That's what we want to see. And I think there's players in this team, they're capable of doing that. Again, it's a tough ask against Tainted Minds tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how this game's going to go down. We do have Moe in here supporting, obviously, that Disorder team. He's going to be the man buying up a smoke and a couple of flashbangs. Looking over to that CT side, Zeusy will be the man playing with the smoke and the kit. However, for the time being, it will be the T's pushing up towards those brown halls, looking to see if they can get themselves in there and possibly get this early frag onto, I believe it was actually Church.
I'm really interested to see how this CT opens up on this line. This is a great headshot line.
It's actually just going to be Church, and I don't think they spotted him out, but they will pop off a couple more shots. They've left this B site wide open. Inns is able to drop Raz. Zeusy comes through and drops Moe. The bomb will be planted, so that's at least a little bit of money in for Order. 4 versus 3. Yam able to drop Luke. Waits that play to peak top, but no. Prodigy gets the headshot with that USP. He's going to fall at the hands of Offnu and has left 1 versus 3 from Zeusy coming right in. 2 kills on Zeusy, and the first round will go in favour of Tainted Minds.
Yeah, the way the guy played uppers, that was quite impressive. Like, he's playing mind games on the terrorist players. He opened up late on the last player, and then just that annoyance that sort of delays the bomb plant. It delays the T side players from being able to look down trains, look down the length of the lines. They had to keep detouring up to the top of ladder.
Yeah, and we do see 3 Deagles come through for the side of Order. Luke gets out on that P250, 2 M4s, 2 MP9s, and a FAMAS coming out on the side of Tainted. Will be interested to see where these are played. Zeusy holding back. Will be able to get a couple of tags off. Drops Prodigy down to 5. Drops Haz to 37. Pistol's actually swapped over there, but that'll be Zeusy. Annihilates Raz. Church will take out Haz. Comes through with that MP9. Picks up a double. Taking out Luke with him. And now Prodigy and Moe. 2 remaining players will both fall at the hands of Offnu on that FAMAS. And a nice little bank build there for Church, at the very least. The key for them is now to just capitalise on this, keep on building, especially after Order will now be able to pull through at least 4 AKs, and Raz on a Galil. Interested to see if these MP9s can hold up. Until we see those come into play though, we do have to consider that Inns and Zeusy, possibly 2 guys that we really want to see fragging, coming out with the M4s. Going to be 4 players straight up over Pop Dog. Push will actually come through. It looks like it's just going to be a 5 stack straight down towards Brown Hall, straight towards this B site. Inns holding back though. It's going to be close. He will have heard that smoke. Pops off 1 shot. Still manages to get away. Doesn't take any damage. He's aware of those players, possibly pushing them up high. Flash comes through. Raz pushes. It's not worth it for him. Inns will put down that nade. The Molotov goes down. Offnu is able to drop Prodigy. The bomb plant won't come through just yet. And Tainted doing a very good job of holding off this push. Luke's going to fall at the hands of Offnu. Yam just drops Haz. And that leaves Moe in a 1 versus 5. He's going to struggle just a little bit here, as every CT is able to upgrade the weapons now.
That's incredibly disappointing that the T's didn't get the bomb plant down. It would have made a big difference going forward. The economy, you know, they're going to be let down by that. But I put that down to Ince and the way he's playing uppers at the moment. You know, he's incredibly passive, he's hard to kill. It's putting so much pressure on the T's to shut him down. We saw a player push through Molly, you know, trying to shut him down, but, you know, Ince was ready for it. You know, he didn't just throw the Molly and accept that nobody would push it. He was ready for that guy to come, you know, blazing at him.
Yeah, I definitely know. As Ofnu picks up the final kill in the round, and Tainted knock it up to a 3-0. Zusi has plenty of money if he wanted to possibly swap over a little bit of that towards Yam, but Yam has got 6,700, and it will just be an M4 coming right back out, up against another Forced Deagle P250 buy on the side of Order. It's going to be a little bit difficult for them to get anything out of this, but 3 players pushing straight down towards Ivy. Zusi is there. He held that relatively well, especially in that pistol round. And it's easy enough once they come through, but Prodigy will take an absolute chunk of damage from that. Ofnu's able to push up close to that team main area and pick up the frag. The players down towards Ivy though, really making the most noise. Zusi is just going to be holding back. Peaks round, can't get the shots off, does manage to get the dig and absolutely annihilates Inns, but Yam picks up one, Yam picks up the second, he's looking for the third, he will not find it, pulls out the deagle, still hunting for it. That is the bomb, so Has on the flank may be absolutely crucial. Will be Raz going down, there goes the bomb. Has now 1 versus 4, there's not really much in it for him, and Chutch pushing up. Actually going to catch him with his knife out, trying to switch back. And Tainted, an easy 4-0.
That's a lack of game sense. I think confidence is a key thing right here. You know, Prodigy's the top fragger too. You know, how are they going to, you know, change things going forward? Can they back their teammates? Can they, you know, can someone do something soon to lift this team? I want to see, you know, I want to see a really exciting game. I want to see Luke, you know, just take it to him.
I'd quite like to see him just come out absolutely frag, but we don't know if that's going to happen. Ofnu will put down that Molotov. Won't do any sort of damage, but does force that player right back to the top of Pop Dog instead. Prodigy though will drop down, trying to get this pick from Team Main. Does manage to drop Inns, but only after Inns has managed to drop Luke. So it brings it straight down to that 4 versus 4, and sadly this is the best position Order have been in so far on this map. It's not where you want to be, but sadly they're in that position trying to fight the way out. Leaves Has down in Pop. He'll look to peek out. Prodigy holding the angle, just waiting for the peek. Will be able to hit Yam. This is absolutely crucial now that they don't drop another frag. To get a little bit of this map control, try and take over this A site. Has pushing out, but no, he's already being flanked. And my goodness, there is that player just in the uppers area. Mo's able to drop Zusi. Ofnu goes down, and Chutch now left 1 versus 4. All on his shoulders. One shot comes through the smoke, but he's still going to push this. He'll pick up no kills. Has will finish him off, and Order will pick up their first T-sided round here.
That was beautiful from Prodigy, getting 3 frags. You know, they managed to secure outside and get the bomb late. You know, I think 4 kills before the bomb was planted. You know, that was a big round from Prodigy, and he's one of the young and up-and-coming players in Australia at the moment. He's had some big LAN performances. You know, I would like to see him go large this game.
It would be amazing if he can go big. I suppose we kind of want to see Disorder just come out. Whether you like it or not, you kind of want to see an upset. You don't know if you really want it to happen to Tainted Minds because of how well they've been playing, but you also have to think, well, if they don't upset them, he will. Ofnu though will push in, pick up that first frag onto Has. Yam drops Prodigy. Mo's able to get a single trade back, but also gets legged by the AWP. Will be dropped to 57 points of health. Grabs the AWP himself, and we don't know if he can actually be quite proficient with it.
Well, what I noticed was that when they were doing the double AWP, Ince went from being a solo inside player to actually supporting with the AWP outside. So it seems a double AWP outside is the way to go.
You'd at least think that may be the case. However, the push will be coming in behind Inns, and he will just put that smoke down. It does force the T's back ever so slightly. Luke will be peeked into though, and Inns annihilates him. Yam's able to take out Raz, and Moe left 1 versus 4. I feel like every round so far has been a 1 versus 4, whether it was Tainted or Order. But now Moe is in this clutch situation. It doesn't look very hopeful for him. If he's able to get this first frag, he at least opens up that A site quite a bit. But Zeusy, no, he spotted him up on that bomb train, and this is all on Zeusy. He'll drop him. Tainted Minds will essentially, I believe, that fully resets Order.
Calm and collected. Yeah, Tainted Minds returning it after losing a round. Like, this is what they do. This is what they do so well. You know, you think that the opposing team has managed to get it together, get around. They might carry on with it. Tainted Minds come back and straight away just lock it down.
Yes, and it does mean that Order, they've just gone for the full force here. Absolutely everything they could get out they have. Moe with an AWP, has on an AK. That will be the push from Luke though. He gets past that Molotov relatively unscathed.
I'd like to see this aggression from the T's as they're closer to the site. You know, that fast rush, rushing to the choke points. Taking damage from grenades. I want to see it onto the site. I want to see a fast plant.
Yeah, it's the difference between dropping 2 people straight out Pop Dog here. Well, all 3 of them almost getting caught up and burnt up in that situation. But luckily they did get away. Although the aggression this time from Zeusy.
Oh, the CZ versus an AWP long range. Oh,
sorry, that is actually Yam. As he's going to put down that Molotov, and yet again, it's almost preventing the push. He's able to drop Haz. Church can drop Rez. Moe and Luke will both fall. And all we need now is Zeusy Orins to pick up the final kill. Kind of spread it out a bit. Offense on the flank. Annihilates Prodigy and Tainted Minds 6-1. I suppose the key here, it's not something you don't expect on a CT side train.
Oh, we expect it. It's a CT-sided map for good teams, for dominant teams, and we're seeing really strong crossfires on Tainted Minds at the moment. Like that inside play with the guy tucked inside and the AWP at range. If the T players come to evade that smoke, they're ducking away from the AWP and they're running straight into the supporting player who's just mowing them down. It's well thought out and constructed. Yeah, Tainted Minds, there's not much that they haven't thought of.
Yes, and the slow play this time. Zeusy, Offnu, Yam. Offnu picks up his second. Moe left 1v5. Once more, he should fall at the hands of Offnu. Indeed he will. He picks up a single kill, gets the AWP back. But the thing I'd like to point out is that if we can actually have a look at the scoreboard, you see how on the, I suppose, on the Tainted side, you've got all those assists. It may only be a grand total of 7 over the course of the entire, 8 rounds that we've played. But then you look down at Order, they've got absolutely 0 assists, which is telling me that there's no one there to trade, there's no one there getting that refrag, there's no damage even being done onto a player. No 2 players are actually able to peek that person that's killed them.
Yeah, they need to get each other's back, start supporting each other. That's your mate ahead of you,
Moe has pulled out the AWP though. And we'll be trying to play that Brown Halls angle, but Zeusy, no. Nobody will be expecting this angle. The flash will come through. Zeusy, though, he's already pushed up. He's able to pick up Moe as Chutch drops Haz.
These combination plays, they're beautiful. They don't do anything alone. And just how they approach with the splash and the support, 2 guys facing the same line at the same time, and then they fall back. It's not one of them falling back and one of them holding the line. They both fall back. It's well coordinated. These guys are going places. I'm really impressed with the way Tainted Minds are moving forward.
You can see that Chutch is tagged down, so I'm interested to see exactly where he's playing at the moment. He is still playing. Now he's gone into a defensive position, knowing that he still has that player to refrag him, but he's tagged. He knows that he can't really afford to take that damage. He goes into the less aggressive position. Maybe they'll happen to see Zeusy first, as Raz takes more damage. And, maybe they focus on Zeusy. Maybe they focus on Church. Either way, there's that refrag potential. There's at least 1 kill coming back, as Zeusy's gonna hear this. He will pick up Luke. He'll pick up Prodigy. He'll pick up Raz. And a nice, swift little 4K. He takes the half for them early.
Go inside, you get that. You go outside, you get that. I mean, they're running out of options.
I hate to say it, but do they just leave the map and...
No,
we can't promote that at all.
I've seen an SK Optic game go 13-2, and then the second half it's gone 13-2 as well. That is the type of CS that I really love. Seeing these comebacks.
On the same page, we've also seen Renegade 60-0 SK, so, I mean... Weighing these different things up, you have to wonder, is Lucy playing yet another different position, playing Ivy this time, is able to drop both Moe and Prodigy. Luke trying to get some damage off, can drop off Nu. Nice couple double tap with the scout. Looking for a second, I believe he's not actually gotten any damage off there. And now we've got two players, yet again Luke and Haz, in another clutch situation. It's going to be awkward as Yam is able to push, drop Luke, expecting Haz to come through that smoke, and the shot's obviously just missing. Haz will look to peek out here, maybe get a 1D grenade, and that'll be Zeusy through the smoke. Tainted Minds is just making this look... It's a walk in the park with a bit of cake, and they get to eat the cake as well. It's like it's a birthday.
They never go easy on anybody. Every match is a practice. They never just relax and do whatever they want. They're constantly focusing on their teamwork, their chemistry. Like, I go on and on about it, but it's so true. It's so good to see. It's what needs to happen with more teams in Oceania and especially Australia.
He's actually taking a lot of damage from this Molotov though, and oh no! The first Molotov kill will drop Zeusy. Often he's able to drop Luke, and Prodigy gets a trade back. Yam though gets one more, ins with that double AWP setup, comes through, spots out Res as well, and will fall at the hands of Yam. Instantly, Zeusy and Ofnu drop, the trade frags come back, and I hate to say it, but I feel like Tainted Minds are making this map it's going to be over too quickly.
Pac-Man. They just came to my head right then. Pac-Man. Just eating up everything.
Yep, that sounds about right. I can half imagine that, except I don't think Tainted Minds have even got, you know, the power-ups. They're just eating. They're just eating the ghosts without. They don't even need it. Zeusy though isn't going to be checked. Holds the trigger finger long enough to get Raz, but not good enough to get Moe, who will try and push, but is held back by an incendiary grenade. Ins will flash it down, look to possibly get a pick, but Moe is actually already getting flanked. There is a CT coming in from behind. Chuch is meant to drop Luke. Ins will be able to drop Moe, and that means very little overall as Prodigy and Haz now 2 versus 4, a position that once more we've seen them in too many times over these last few rounds. Haz will be the man peeking around. Drops off Nu.
Beautiful.
That's a bit of success for him. He will smoke off connector, and this is a chance for at least the bomb plant, but Yam annihilates him.
Pushing
Prodigy.
Just pushing through everything. Just going straight for them.
It's difficult. You wonder if Order need to take a pause. You wonder if maybe they just need to, I hate to say it, get it over with. Do they have any confidence at the moment? Do they know that they want to win this? Do they have an amazing CT side planned?
Well, they clearly lack leadership. They need to slow down, just steady up a little bit, see if they can get an opening pick from a safe line holding the T half of the map. But it's that point, after a wee while, they just explode. They need to be quick. They need to get possession of the outside bomb site, or they need to get deep into the inside bomb site. They're too slow at the choke point, so they're walking out ladder right now. They're still at E-box. No one's actually pressing onto the site. There's not anybody on the squad that's just raging on through.
I suppose the thing is, I sort of look at the maps, and I'm looking at the Veto as we speak, and I can see that the Order side took out Overpass and Cobble. And the key for me there is that they left the entire, I suppose, Oceania rotation of Mirage, Inferno and Cache, sort of the 3 most played maps, in just for Tainted Minds to remove them. Left them with Nuke and Train, and I feel like this is just fed straight in to Tainted Minds' hands. However, are we about to see Order pick themselves up a second round? Ooh. I do believe we might, but Zeusy in the 1v3, he just has to be ever so slightly on point. He's hearing these players, but Moe will drop him. And Order do pick up their second round. It's not going to mean anything in terms of resetting Tainted Minds' economy, but hey, it at least gives us 2 more rounds on the on their CT side.
No, we might eat our words here. Disorder, they could have a comeback. What are we going to do? Eat a hat? Have you got a hat? I got a hat over here.
You got a hat? Oh. I don't know how tasty it'll be.
Yeah, no, I'm not expecting it to be tasty, but you know, I mean, I'll eat my words if Tainted Mind go ahead and lose this.
Just put a bit of sauce on it. It'll be sweet. Yeah. Should taste pretty good. As Ofnu with the nade won't be able to hit anything. And pushing in, is able to drop Moe, Inns is able to drop Luke, expecting the dropping player, drops Has as well. Just the aggression from Tainted Minds. They're supposed to be the counter-terrorists. They may as well be the terrorists at this point. The aggression is working out near perfectly for them.
I'm so annoyed with Ofnu! Oh my gosh, on letter room, he is just being a pain in the ass!
Prodigy, though, is able to drop Zeusy through the smoke. Inzo will still be sitting in that tight little corner, and it's not often they check it. Inz is able to peek out, and Prodigy in the 1v4 through the smoke. Inz will clean him up as we come now into round number 15. Order have very little to buy with. I don't know. I'm actually surprised at this point that Tainted Minds aren't going full disrespect and pulling out 5 AWPs or 5 DACs or anything, because
No,
this is the kind of lead you have, though.
That is not something that Tainted Minds do. Like I said, they practice. They know that games can be they can turn around quickly. This is something that they practice. The discipline between their teammates. Like they know that if they go up against a team from Indonesia or China, like in an event coming up, this is going to serve them well. Locking down and closing matches. The nerves can overcome you. You can start to make mistakes and.
He's annihilated him.
That's disorder. Go on, let's just get to the Met win right now.
We're talking about Tainted Minds BMing Order, and Hez just comes in with that. Yeah, that was nice and beautiful. But still in behind them is going to be that single player, and Church will drop Prodigy. Brings it down to that 3 versus 3. Rez is able to get the finishing kill onto Church, but Ofnu
The bomb!
can drop Mo.
The bomb!
They have to go back for it. They're trying to get back to the bomb. Whilst they have a slightly open sight, the 2 remaining players on the CT side have combined more health. Well,
The CTs have
individually.
thought the bomb's rotated back inside. They've gone. Where have these guys gone? What the? I think they're gone to be. They're gone to be. Let's get out of here. Let's go to be.
The problem is, they know exactly where they're going to be, and Inns is going to be able to sneak around. Misses the no-scope. No! He can't just try and no-scope him here. Has will be reloading. Raz with 1 HP. If he can get a collateral double headshot, I'd be... Oh, he will drop Inns! Now in the 1 versus 1. He is coming through, and Ofnu absolutely has to find something here. He does have more health, and Raz with that single point. He's only got 10 seconds, so he has to get this bomb planted. Ofnu is expecting this. A single bullet through the smoke here. Oh, we'll do it. And Tainted Minds will take the round 13-2.
Wait, am I looking at that right?
1 and 6.
13-2, 21-6. Huge.
Absolutely massive. I don't think you could ask for much more. That's just unbelievable.
He's souped up tonight, man. He's on fire.
Yeah. Is Yam just going with the knife? Nope, he's gone back to
Has he lost his pistol?
I think he's lost his pistol. Oh no, there we go.
Okay. A delayed execute from Tainted Minds here.
Execute with what smokes? It's not an execute, they're going to execute Order. They absolutely have to pop these heads off, as it's 5 sets of armor versus 5 sets of armor, and Church will pick up the first headshot onto Hez. Will be trying to tag down as Raz can drop off now. Zeus's down on 2 points of health. Moe can peek around here. Could be absolutely destructive with this USP. Pops off a couple of shots, and Raz is able to drop Yam as well. They've got that upper B control now. The bomb, I believe, is actually going to rotate down through pop.
Don't Moe, don't.
Moe! He's going to peek
Oh,
it!
he
Still
got
gets
it.
the kill onto Inns. But the key here, if Church is accurate and absolutely on fire, he's got 3 players within almost a bullet.
Oh!
Never mind. It should be all over. Order should
Snap.
pick up the pistol round. I think Zeusy was spotted out. I am unsure. But Zeusy will still look to play. Yep.
Raz with the 3K. That's I seen so many highlights of Raz with a USP on train.
It's a shame that they were... I think they were all actually body shots, though. The players were generally a little bit tagged down. But it still comes through. It still counts. And it doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as you get the kills, as long as you get the frags, as long as you get the rounds. Which, Tainted Minds, Zeus has got a deagle. He's got a deagle. I want this to happen. I think we all want this to happen. Oh, He gets the shot off, doesn't get any accuracy. But Church will peek around. Zusi and Yam both take a bit of damage from that nade. Church almost had the collat lined up. But it does mean Prodigy wins out and still yet to take any damage. Zusi will be looking. We do have that player down in Ivy. This Prodigy has picked up the pistol as well. At least guarantees that does not go into the hands of the T's again. Luke drops off new. Prodigy peeks close. Zusi's able to pick up one. He's looking for that FAMAS. He gets his hands on it. And with a minute left, they can definitely play around. They can look. They can try and get a nice couple of frags here. Problem is he does have that aim punch. And it won't be too useful. But Inns actually peeking out from Pop Dog could be crucial. Catches Yam out on top of the train. Zusi with the deagle! Gets a second. Could this be an anti-eco pistol deagle clutch ace? I'd like to see it. Yes, he's got the third onto Haz. He won't get any more as Luke will drop him, but Inns has the bomb. They've split a couple of these CTs. He will be heard out here though by Moe. He shouldn't get anything. Shouldn't get the bomb plant. Shouldn't get this frag. Moe will kill him. But my goodness, Zusi. Trying to provide for us yet again.
That was a lot tougher than it needed to be. I mean, Zusi almost changed that game, that round. And T-side players, no bomb plant. Their economy is broken. They don't have enough money to be able to buy. It should be a full save.
The key is Zusi does have a bit of money. He's got a couple of flashes, so my best assumption here is possibly a very quick rush, couple of flashes, maybe a kill or two if they get very lucky, and that bomb plant is probably their key. They get that bomb plant, even if they lose the round, it all turns to custard. Then, at the very least, they have quite a bit to play with. The push comes out though, and Raz will pick up a double. Luke's managed to drop Offnu in between. He is looking for an extra kill. Has dropped Yam. Builds up his bank with that MP9. And Moe pushing in. Will drop Zusi. No loss for Order. But Tainted have got a nice bit of money to spend.
Economy is one of the most important things about CS. Yeah. What do they do with what do the CTs do with the SMGs right now? Do they keep them? Do they press on? And they're going to be outpowered against the AKs, but they have enough money to be able to buy next round, and they don't have rounds to give.
They really have not got much to give, and Order have opted to keep a UMP and an MP9. Up against these 5 AKs, this could possibly be the end of their economy, and could definitely be costly to them. The CTs, however, have got a stacked A site. 3 players just going to be holding on as Luke.
Now, I think we need to get ready for this fast execute from the T.
Won't be much of an execute if Yam goes down that quick and easy. As Luke will be able to drop him. Only takes minor damage as well. But Prodigy, playing from next to Pop Dog, will be able to drop Zusi. And this is slightly more difficult for Tainted to, I suppose, grow into this round, as that smoke down meant absolutely no refrag potential. The push will come out. He's able to drop Prodigy, takes a bit of damage from the Molotov, still looking for a second kill. Just moves up closer to E-Box. Raz ready for Offnu to peek out Ivy, and it seems like Order are almost in control here, as Moe will be able to drop in. That's the bomb gone and down. Chuch now has to clutch this out. He picks up the first. No, not the second. Hez can get it with the MP9. Upgrade to the AK as well. And now we can see Order coming through here.
Yeah. There's something's working here. Tainted Minds, they're struggling a little bit. I think the utility, really helps for the CTs. Full sets of nades for everybody. They're on a roll. I mean, do you expect them to go on with this?
I'll be honest, I don't expect them to go on with this. This could be crucial. They've pulled out a double up against an eco. Yet again, one of these rounds where you've defeated them, their economy isn't going to be great, but you still pull out those overpowered weapons. Maybe you want to guarantee the kill, but instantly that first shot, it's missed. It could possibly come back to bite them, as, well, I'm not saying that the pistols are going to absolutely annihilate them, but if the double up doesn't work, you're putting yourself in a rock and a hard place.
A fast take inside right now. If they can land the headshot, that's 2 rifles within close range, within reach of them getting them. If they can get the bomb plant down, kill these guys, potentially they could stop the retake.
Church has armor as well. So if he's one of those players getting a kill, not getting too much damage, will be Mo picking up the first one though. Zeus is going to fall. Ofnu can drop Moe though. Church drops Hez. And that leaves this B site almost open. Trying to get up there and get that kill. Raz will drop Yam, Ofnu, and Church, the two remaining players. Need to find something. Ofnu just gets back onto the train. Prodigy drops him and shots through. Church is able to pick up one. Luke gets the refrag. Now there's a choice for Order. Do they save the double AWP? Or do we actually see the AK stay in the hands of Raz, I suppose, to... no. They won't keep that I suppose, a one-tap potential.
That was exactly what I was sort of expecting from Tainted Minds, like to go for those two guns. And if Chach had made that shot when he went on top of Oil, it would have turned it into a 2v2. And what would we have seen then? You know, an AWP, an AK trying to clutch the round out with CTs deep. Yeah, it was a lot more trouble than what Disorder needed to go through. I think, you know, being so close, it caused a lot of havoc.
Yes, indeed. As Tainted will be able to buy down. AKs for all. Yam on the AWP. Drop straight down into Pop Dog. An instant push. Speed comes through. Chutch drops Has. Takes a little bit of damage, but he's the only player to take some. Raz and Prodigy get the refrag. Prodigy will fall off. New gets a second. And now the bomb will be planted. 2 AWPs on the retake. Luke already trying to push out. Seeing if he can play around the train, misses the shot. That gives away his position. Moe still trying to come through. Basically coming from Old Bomb. And the T's, they're in the post plant. They are almost sorted. As Moe will be able to spot out Ofnu. That gives away his position though. And they're trying to just prevent these players playing around them. Zusi though will be getting in close. Luke is going to go down. He gets the double.
Jesse.
Finishes it off, and Tainted Minds up to a 14-7 lead.
Big plays for a big-time player. Zeus C, the Kiwi brother. You know, look at these two top dogs. Who's that? Ofnu. New Zealand represent. They're our lads.
It is a positive. It is positive, I suppose, as he sits at 23 and 12. Zusi just behind him on 19 and 12. Raz at the top, at least for Order, at 14 and 15. Not exactly where he wants to be, but I'm surprised to see that only now he's on that second AWP. They had Luke on it. Why was Raz not on this earlier? Is it because he's not an A player, not a B player?
Moe's an AWPer. He loves to AWP. Yeah, he's filling in. Yeah, you know, it's hard to. Oh, that first bullet AK is not always on point.
I mean, it would have helped if he'd actually aimed at the head. He did kind of move a little bit. It just didn't work out. But Zusi's able to drop Prodigy. Chutch takes out Has. Yam pushing through, drops the player bomb train, which is Luke. Raz left 1v5. I mean, what's he got to lose here?
I really like what Tainted Minds bring to the table. You know, the versatility and the range of strategies that they have, how they fall into a 2-2-1 split on A site, which is slow, using like a slow pace, trying to open up with picks. You know, the utility of the CTs hold them back, but they lose that round, they come back, and then they do a fast take of outside sight. Yeah, they lose the first 2 frags.
Oh, we got
Revenge! Revenge for the Tainted Mind boys. That's 1 knife each, guys.
Yes, as Chutch comes through with that. Raz just couldn't clutch out there, and Tainted will knock it up to 15-7. It's going to be difficult for Order to get anything out of this. They've only got 2 CZs, a Scout. Make it 3 CZs, a Scout, and a Dig on Has. Tainted, well, they've got everything they can want. I don't think that this is going to go past this round. It's going to be difficult. We'll see exactly what comes. Has, though, pushing up. Can't. Yes. No. Does get the first kill. Moe gets the second onto Zusi. Yam gets a single trade back. The 2 remaining players... Sorry, the 3 players left on Tainted. Now have to try and find at least some of these CTs. Moe has picked up an AK. He does have armor behind it. So the crucial part here is that Prodigy and Raz are able to turn this into something. Especially with just their CZs. 2 players now on either side for Order will be aiming to just hold off whatever push may come. Yam is ever so slightly tagged up as well, so could make for an interesting, I suppose, hold should they get this bomb plant. But for now, Tainted Minds just going to be playing this nice and slow, checking every corner, just making sure they don't give anything else up. Prodigy will be about to spot this. Spots out Offnu, gets the taps, gets the tags, gets the finish. Church, though, pushing through, will be able to drop him. Leaves single player in Raz, hiding behind the spools, drops Church. Yem comes through, annihilates him, switches out to the AKs, looking for the rest of these kills. Spots out the play going top bomb train. Sorry, top of the train. And Luke will finish him off. Tainted Minds will lose a round here.
Trailing by 7 rounds. I mean, then they could come back from this. 7 rounds, when you look at it from that perspective, 7 rounds, that's not too far away. I can get there.
You've just done a bit of damage to Tainted's economy. You've forced them down to another pistol eco. At the same time, they get that buyout the very next round in comparison to Order getting reset, where they're still down on a couple of FAMASs and a single M4 and AK, supporting a scout of all weapons, not getting their hands on the AWP. Deagle's looking to do a bit of damage here. Would be interesting to see if maybe Zeusy had pulled one out. Instead, he's gone for the CZ. Spotted up close, though. Offnu will drop Prodigy. As Yam, peeking top bomb train, just looking for one of these players. Takes a little bit of damage. Annihilates Luke! Junction Yam, no! Has left. Oh! Raz left in the 1 versus 5, coming from Pop Dog. AUCS at its finest. The bomb has been planted. We saw him in this situation before. Offnu will finish it off.
That's a
Good night, Raz. Good night, Order.
Get out of here. You got served.
I struggle. I don't understand how that goes. If it's just the confidence of the Tainted Boys, if it's the lack of confidence of Order. However it is, that was just beautiful.
Tainted Minds with a Deagle. Like, just buy Deagles, boys. You guys are ruthless. Like, just taking off heads, like, securing the round, like, that's massive. And to finish it like that, yeah.
It almost feels bad, though. You know, you don't really want them to finish off on an eco. You want them to finish it as a rifle versus rifle buy. You wanted maybe Order to win that and at least bring it to that 16-9. It just didn't look too good, and all of a sudden we're left in an absolutely huge pickle. I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, but I mean, to go beyond tactics and just use raw ability, that's what Tainted Minds can do.
Well, raw ability, I mean, I think we've all got that, whether it's at this sort of level, somewhere up here, whether it's at... Well, I can't actually find my level anywhere in this room. It's probably at the bottom of the Sky Tower somewhere, whilst we cast out of this area. But I think that covers it for the Tainted Minds taking on Order game. Do you have anything else to say?
No, you know, Tainted Minds was the class and form team going into that, and they're a force to be reckoned with going forward, and I'm looking forward to where they go next week with Greyhounds. Absolutely, Chris, but we are going to throw it right back over to you, Dallas.
Thank you very much for that, Nutters. And coming up on Let's Play Live next Wednesday, live from the Sky Tower, we're going to be having the Wellington Regional Championship for Dragon Ball Fighters at 8 PM NZ time, so you can catch it here on Twitch and on Sky Sport. Can't wait to see that one, to see who is New Zealand's strongest fighter. But obviously we've just seen Tainted Minds take down Order 16-7, and I mean, 16-8, I should say, sorry. And I mean, and what a spectacular finish as well, you know, in such bold fashion there, Tom. I mean, a few things to say about that game. I mean, Order should be proud.
Oh, definitely. They had a very solid CT half, but Tainted Minds, they're very sharp. They're too strong with those pistols. It seems it's been a few weeks now where they've won rounds they shouldn't have by just hitting crazy one-digs.
Yeah, very much so. And I mean, Tainted Minds, obviously, you know, the big favourites going into that one. And you can see, you know, there was a glimmer of hope there for the side of Order. They were very good on that start of the CT side, you know. They definitely showed some promise, but, you know, the lack of teamwork, that's what happens when you've got a substitute player. But obviously, you know, when you're not a well-polished team like obviously Tainted Minds were in that, as we saw, you know, all those executes on their T side, very, very strong, obviously. The confidence as well they have, you know, on that final round, just walking out with Deagles, you know. It's unbelievable stuff there. But I guess anything you want to say in regards to maybe Order, you know, they're looking good, obviously, considering they got themselves, you know, 8 rounds.
Yeah, they should definitely be happy with 8 rounds. I feel like Train probably wasn't like the best map to pick. As a T, you really have to have a lot of deep strategies and good teamwork, and playing against a team like Tainted Minds, it's going to be very hard to just pick up a gun and run and shoot them. Basically, you need smokes, you need flashes, you need counterfire, and you need a lot of teamwork to really be able to get rounds on the T side. Maybe if they had have started on the CT side, they could have started how they did in the second half. On the first half, then maybe they could have got 10, 11 rounds, and then they could have gone into the second half with a bit more confidence, but in the end it was just a little too late.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, the other thing as well is Tainted Minds, obviously, being currently at the top of the scoreboard now, still probably looking, pretty confident, pretty solid up there at the moment. We've now obviously, got order. They're solidly improving, I'd say, coming up against currently the number one's ranked team, and getting themselves those rounds. They should be feeling pretty proud with that. Though I want to take it back to, that moment where Prodigy, they were down, I believe it was maybe 5-0, maybe 6-0, and Prodigy, comes busting out with the AWP, the 3K that really just opened it up. Obviously, if they had a little bit more strategy, a little bit more, I guess, preset executes, they might have been able to get themselves, into that game. How do you feel about some of these other players sort of stepping up to their role?
I feel like they each had like a little bit of individual like rounds where they won stuff, like Prodigy, for example, where he had the 3 AWP K, and then the other round where Raz, he actually started off slow. He was on, I think, 0 kills, but he got the second round for them just with a bit of individual skill. It shows that they do know how to play, like individually they are skilled players, but when it comes to taking on a team like Tainted Minds, it's just a bit hard to rely on individual skill.
Yeah, because I mean, you can see with Tainted Minds, they've obviously just got, raw skill across the board. We'll take it back to Inz's, CT side just to start things off. What a great position, he had majority up in brown holes a lot of the time, getting that early intel for the team. And that's one thing that I feel obviously, it could just be because they're playing with a substitute, but that disorder had for them was that they're not pushing enough, on other parts of the map. They're not funneling Tainted Minds into those, those positions they don't want to be in, and they're not getting enough early intel.
No, for sure. They weren't controlling the map. You see on the Tainted Minds, for example, they like to take brown hole control, and then they can play one player there and force them towards the A-bomb site. But as you see with the order squad, it's a bit hard for them to get control. You see they're sort of just waiting for a move from Tainted Minds, which it is good to do that, but you really need to take some control of the map so you can sort of get an idea of where the where your other team is going, and you can sort of stack players to that site, or you can move around and you can do stuff off that. If they're sort of just sitting there waiting for stuff to happen, it's sort of going to catch them off guard, and Tainted Minds will have too much firepower when they do push into the site.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, it'll be very exciting to see over the next few weeks if Order can manage to get themselves a win on the board. But coming up next, we're going to be having Corvidae taking on LOL 123, and this is my personal favourite matchup of the night here. Can't wait to see these two teams duke it out. So obviously, we've mentioned it earlier, Tom, LOL 123 haven't managed to pick themselves up a win yet, and Corvidae have been looking very strong indeed. Now, LOL 123 have played the harder teams in the first couple of weeks, coming up against Greyhounds and I believe Tainted Minds as well. So, a very tough couple of matches for them. So now it's time for them to get into their groove, I think. And tonight we can probably see LOL 123 turn things up.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think they'll be a lot more confident going into a game like this, where they're playing against a team that's not a top 3 team in the country. They are a solid team. They're probably ranked in the 5th or 6th, but I feel like they have a lot more chance to win games like this, and they will come out of the blocks ready to go because they really do know they need to win this game.
So, I mean, a couple of things to note there. Last week we had Iron, coming out with a huge T-side on Inferno. But then he sort of trailed off a little bit, and I feel like Cruden's been sort of the solid man. Like, normally we talk about him not being, a big fragger for the side of Corvidae, but he's been really solid for them. He's been like a rock, I would say. Is there anything that Corvidae need to bring to the table tonight?
When I watched Corvidae play last week, they really had a very good T-side. They got a lot of map control, and I feel like that's vital, especially against a team like LOL 123, who are quite a passive team. They'll give you a lot of space on the map. So if Corvidae can play how they did last week and pretty much take control of the top of the banana area and the top of mid area and force the LOL 123 team back, I feel like they'll have a lot of success.
I mean, the other thing as well is, we briefly talked about Darksided picking up Knights. Is it because LOL 123 are still looking for themselves, an org? Do they need that, that little bit of inspiration to push themselves forward? But we'll see soon enough. A couple of players from the LOL 123 side to probably have a look at, just to sort of highlight a couple of guys here. We talked about Blitz last week, and I feel, me personally, that's a big one for this matchup as well. Blitz is really going to need to turn things up, obviously, if they want to get in and amongst this game. But the other one is Stat as well. So is there any players on the side of LOL 123?
I feel like as a team, they've sort of like all individually somewhat level, where they can all have good games and they can all have bad games. So I guess it just comes down to the map. But I would have to agree with you on this one with Blitz, seeing as I feel like Inferno's quite a solid sniper map when you have the sniper rifle on your side as a CT, and the way Corva they like to play, they like to take map control. So if Blitz can spot up the top of Nana, spot at the top of mid, and stop the T side from pushing, I think he'll be very influential.
So yeah, maybe we should just clarify that for anyone who's new to Counter-Strike at home there. You might hear us saying the word AWP a lot. That means the sniper rifle. So the big sniper rifle you see everyone using is called the AWP. That's why we constantly just keep saying that word over and over again. There's obviously shortened phrases for all the call-outs as well, but hopefully as you watch over the next few weeks you will start catching on to what those all mean. But a couple of other points as well before we go into this one. There's definitely been, you've had the chance of playing with Lonsdale, so when it comes to this guy's, calling, because he's their leader most of the time, I would say.
Yes.
How do you feel that's going to influence them?
I feel like it's obviously a good thing. They're very methodical. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They sort of will take, somewhat similar to Corva there, they'll try and take map control, they'll push you back, and they'll try and spread your defense thin across the whole map so they can find something good to attack. I personally feel like Lonsdale is one of the best callers in the Oceanic scene, and he definitely does bring a lot to each team that he plays for.
Alright, well thank you very much for that, and I guess maybe one more thing just before we get into that, just so you can sort of give a bit of insight to the people at home there. How important is it having a leader?
It's very important in this game. You need someone that's going to basically call the shots. You get into the middle of the round, each people might have individual ideas of what they want to do, but the shot caller basically brings it all together. He makes sure everyone's on the same page and everyone's ready to push the certain areas together, flash for each other, and just coordinate everything basically.
Well, very insightful there. It's obviously much like real sport where your captain is indeed, a very helpful part of the team. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get right back into the action. Corvidae taking on LOL 123. Let's throw it over to our casters. Nutters and Wayfarer, take it away, chaps.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dallas. As we do get to look forward to our second game, Corvidae taking on LOL 123. I feel like this is going to be, as they've been talking about, this is going to be a crucial matchup. This can decide who goes to LAN, possibly at the end of this week even. If LOL 123 come through, for all we know, they might just find their form, they might just keep moving with it.
It is an important match for both teams. LOL 123 will have to win this to get their first win in the tournament. Still 2 more wins to go, but this is a big stepping stone because Corvidae is currently the 3rd ranked team, and they're looking favourites going ahead. So
I believe they are just behind Darksided at the moment, just on round difference as it is, because they did beat them. So coming through to it, I do feel like Corvidae could definitely be coming over to Auckland. They definitely could be at the LAN.
Yeah.
And a lot of that also comes down to the match afterwards. But for you, I suppose, what do you expect from LOL 123 if they want to beat Corvidae here?
I think both these teams offer the same type of style, with their structure and setups, their defaults, how they sort of run 2 at B, one jungle, one diggity, one pit. It's a basic setup. It's a defensive setup. I think the way that they play T side is quite similar as well. It could be a bit of trouble for Corvidae because of the way that LOL 123 play. If they can find somewhere where they can break them down, maybe they can break them down getting an easy B site with some picks. We saw that last week against Knights. Darksided now. It's
going to be interesting.
Yeah, and that was an impressive result for Corvidae last week doing that to Knights, because Knights have gone on to win. They've had some great results this week going on from that match, and they've also managed to get that signing with Darksided.
Yeah, so having a quick look sort of over at the bans, we see that the 2 remaining maps that we actually had for this were in fact going to be Nuke and Inferno. Obviously we see Cash and Train both disappear off that Corvidae map pool. Whilst they can play on both of those maps, I do feel like they don't really want to give either of those to LOL 123 either. We then see that the pick comes through for Inferno. Now, you did obviously talk about defaults, whether you're going, playing, where you're actually going to be playing those players. Now, if Corvidae themselves get, I suppose, a successful start into this game, they come through, maybe they just dominate, they start obviously on the T side. If they get an aggressive hard T side going, are they just going to absolutely annihilate, go through, and all of a sudden we're just going to see them just drop LOL 123? Could we be seeing possibly what we saw last week. We saw them get a huge lead over Knights. Knights made at least a little bit of a comeback. Do you think we could see possibly the same?
I think the difference between Corvidae and Law123 is Iron. He is the star player out of this match, and he's a playmaker, and he goes beyond strategy and tactics, where he finds space and he pushes it. Some people call it random, like a sort of a puggish kind of style, but you need a player like that who takes on that leadership of creating a play or creating room for his
Creating space.
Yeah, he's creating space for his teammates, as long as he's the only one doing it. I think if there's other teammates also doing these random aggressive pushes, then they can get into trouble and be outnumbered.
Yeah, as it is, and I played a couple of pugs with Iron recently, and interestingly enough, on Inferno, he absolutely dominated. So I really look forward to seeing how this is going to be played out, as these players instantly going for that early banana aggression. Stat fires off a single shot, doesn't make any sort of connection. Both Ares and Cruden have opted for smokes and flashes, which would suggest that we're either going to see maybe a late A-side execute. We've obviously got that early banana control, but it's just where they are going to play on a more specific note. 3 players will be pushing up mid, trying to aim at least a little bit of that early aggression. Blitz, though, holding from that arch side. That smoke will be able to just block him off for a moment. He is just going to hide, try and keep himself away, and Blitz will be able to get the first kill. Looks for the second, but Cruden gets that instant refrag. Pushing now, Cruden is actually going to flank through CT as the bomb goes up banana. This is an amazing play from Corvidae already. The execute can now come out, but Stat one taps Cruden, looking for the second, won't be able to find it. Lonsdale on site, looking for Ares, looking for anything. He drops Iron, he drops Ares, and Dan's left 1v4 with a USP. He falls. Lonsdale on fire.
Huge. Now that was exactly the same strategy Corvidae used last week on pistol round, and it totally backfired. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's because the Law123 guys have gone back and watched that demo and seen how they play it, and it was a total counter strategy to keep the 2 B players anchored on site. It was good work, and Lonsdale just locked it down. He made the shots he needed to make.
At the same time, you're not really going to rotate a player off B when you've gone 1-for-1 over on the A site. You've still got that second player over on A. There's not an awful lot to worry about. 2v4, if you lose that second pick, then you rotate probably both players off. Instead, we now see Corvidae play out 5 CZs, full armor in behind that, so hoping to not get torn through, as Lonsdale has just done to Ares. Herbs peeks out, takes a bit of damage through the edge of that smoke from Blitz. Smoke just not playable for these Ts, and it does leave at least 2 of them tagged. Iron is still looking to possibly push out Boiler, but this is a 5-man stack. They absolutely have to do something here, and they need a plan to, I suppose, get anything out of the round. Herbs will just be looking to push out Boiler, and it does give up at least a little bit of that map space. Soju sitting on site, maybe able to get that first kill onto Ares if that peak is just a little bit too wide out of carpet. And the push comes around. 4 players now, no smokes, no flashes, nothing, as Soju rips through at least 2 of them. You do see 3 refrags come right back, though, and all of a sudden Corvidae are almost in the driver's seat. They can get their hands on that bomb. Dan's just peeks around, gets a little bit of damage. She doesn't get any damage off with that CZ. The push from Stat picks up 1. Cruden still just playing around the box, looking for whatever he can get. He only has a CZ. He gets Stat! But Lonsdale comes on through.
Where was their plan? Where was the bomb? Could they not find the bomb?
Bomb got dropped into pit early.
Wow. Yeah, that really let them down. Not recovering that bomb and getting the bomb, down. It meant too much time has been wasted.
It was a little bit unlucky. I'm assuming they maybe thought that it had dropped slightly closer to site, but I believe the players, you all know, you get killed, the bomb drops in the direction you're facing. You obviously want to be facing site with it, but maybe not expecting all the refrags. He looked away, looked towards the pit, towards the men attempting to kill him, and all of a sudden the bomb has deserted them. But it does leave him with 5 Glocks for this round, at least on this eco. Blitz with just a P250 himself, as Lonsdale is able to drop Iron. Soju takes at least a little bit of damage from these Glocks. And Cobbs looking for something. Drops Cruden. Still leaves 3 players live on the side of Corvidae, all stacked up in apartments. But LOL123 have called it. They've got a 4-man stack on this A site, which, whilst it would leave Banana open, that is being held by an M4. Oh, the aggression here from Cobzo. He could catch them out coming through Mexico. Drops Ares. Won't be able to get the kill onto Herbs, but it's just a Glock. He's not going to do much more damage, especially at the range. Stat's able to peek through. Dan's left. Falls at the hands of Soju. Single play goes down. It's only an MP9. LOL123 knock it up to a 3-0. Corvidae will buy up these AKs. I suppose it's their map. It's their choice. Is this where we now see some, I suppose, strong T-sided aggression pull through?
I think both teams will be very happy about this map being selected. I think they would be really confident going forward. Seeing Lonsdale on B side, playing that early aggression, getting those kills, having him confident going forward is really important because he can become a game-changing player.
Those nades, though, stacked down. Banana will do a fair amount of damage to Ares. Peeking around, though, Lonsdale annihilates him. Does take a little bit of damage, as does Stat, but both players remain entirely alive. Stat will just put that flash over. Lonsdale will peek again, catches one out, but Stat is meant to take the damage. Lonsdale just holding it flat, annihilates Iron. And even this Banana push just being held off near perfectly by LOL123. Are Corvidae doing something wrong?
Lonsdale's playing exceptional at the moment. He is doing a great job on Banana. Early frags, falling back, staying alive, and as they put that aggression on him, he's managing to pick up another frag. He's just not making any mistakes.
Dans will be able to just smoke off the arch side for the time being, just to possibly give them the idea that they will push the A side, but they've only got one direction to go here, and it is indeed towards that B area. Stat has been boosted up, still only has the MP9, but I'm sure if he's able to survive, he'll be the man looking to grab one of these AKs. He could actually probably jump off here and annihilate all three players, but no, they haven't checked him. He'll drop Cruden, he will drop back. Lonsdale will pick up another, and it will be Lonsdale with the 4K.
Okay, yeah. That was really disappointing to me, not checking on top of Garden. That, for me, was a mistake from the T-side players. It could have been an early entry onto the site, put a lot more pressure on Lonsdale. An opening frag is the difference of taking B, and it wasn't easy. It's a sitting duck, an MP9's on that position, and that's a first check, always, going into B site.
At the same time, if you're going to double peek that, you've got one person checking the planter, you've got one person checking at least new boxes. That nade doesn't really do an awful lot. Lonsdale will be able to drop Iron, looking for the second, won't get any damage off. But I do wonder if maybe Corvidae just had the idea, they've both dropped back onto site. If one of them's still holding on site, possibly a new box, possibly Dark, they can't have boosted. So maybe you just sort of put that out of your head, you've put the smoke down, you don't worry about CT. It does cost them, and it's early in the game at least for it to be costing them. It will have taught them a lesson and they will check that next time, but you can guarantee by that point in time he'll just be playing somewhere completely different and we'll all be just dumbfounded. Herbs is just going to be playing, trying to maybe pick up a little bit of information towards the balcony area, but of the 4 Corvidae players remaining, I don't know how many of them will be expecting Stat in this position. I sure wouldn't be, as he does drop airs. Lonsdale drops Dan's. Karuna's able to push through and pick up one, but Stat finishes it off, picks up a 3K himself. And LOL123 are absolutely dominating here. Is this going to lead to more?
Oh yeah. CT sided on Inferno. It can go like this. It can swing this way. Teams can get a big lead, especially against if they get control of the economy. The utility is really hard to fight back against when you're a T-side player going up against it. Map control is incredibly important, but those nades down Banana, those nades down mid, the mollies and smokes to delay the progression, it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah, and it's the aggression that LOL123 actually put into Banana. Once they realise those players have fallen back, they're instantly in there. They're just pushing right down, getting in deep, getting into just those awkward positions. And all of a sudden, you can only check one at a time. They peek out from both. It's all over. Dens will get yet another smoke out onto that outside. Does block off the vision for Blitz. He will just put that incendiary on the other side of that smoke at top mid. And this nade could actually do a bit of damage if It hits. Will catch both players, but not too much. The push now coming out onto this A site. Cruden clearing out Diggity, just checks one, heads on back. He's going to put another smoke over. Possibly even just... I wonder where this is actually going to go to. Will be most likely straight over for Diggity. Oh no, at the very least, it will ever so slightly cover off that pit angle as the push comes on through. Looking to pick up frags here as Soju is able to drop herbs. Ares will be able to take out Soju. And already, Cobbs will drop Dans. The bomb has been planted. And in a 3 versus 4, the push has to come through now.
It's a smoke out.
It absolutely was, actually. As it is still got Cobbs actually hung up in that pit area. He can't get out for fear of these T's. Ares able to hold on. He drops one. He's looking for a second, but Blitz will trade him back. Cruden annihilates Cobbs and leaves it in that 2 versus 2. Cruden through the box. Taking a little bit of damage. Just trying to get back. Blitz, though, pushing in. Stat's able to drop Cruden. But Iron, the bomb's not planted for him. Stat taps the bomb. He could have just sat on it and stuck it. Iron wasn't getting there. But no, he will fall, as will Iron. But it does pick up Corviday's first round of the half.
I really liked the strategies from both teams there. I'm a big fan of the defensive setup on Inferno, how they play deep and those painful corners behind boxes and pit. It really opens up the T-side players as they progress onto the A side to make themselves vulnerable to multiple angles. CTs really just didn't seem to do enough damage, and to come down to a 1v1, time wasn't on their side with that defusal either. They probably need to be quick enough. The bomb plant came down quick as well. It really helped. That was great play from both teams.
Yes, as we at least see Corviday get a couple of weapons out here. It's unlucky that their economy is so poor after losing 5 in a row, but it does mean they get at least something from the round with these AKs. Maybe they just get 1 kill, maybe it's 2, but no, it'll be Iron going down early. And yet again, Corviday in a bad position to start with. That incendiary will just hold the T's back for another moment longer. But Lonsdale and Stat, their B-site hold so far has been absolutely stunning. And this time it'll be Lonsdale boosted up. He's a man with less health, allows at least Stat to sit on that site for slightly longer. Ares just looking up as the rest of the players could quite easily try and make something towards the A site. I mean, having no picks, doing a very minor amount of damage overall to Lons. As Cruden will be able to spot out Stat. They will check planners this time, and this time it plays off for him. He will be able to drop Lonsdale. He drops Stat as well. And the bomb plant can now come through. Soju pushing connector. Sorry, construction will drop Ares. And Soju, he's going to be looking. He's got that AK. He'll be looking to frag with this. 3 versus 3. Cruden holding right in water. Could be, I suppose, the key player as Soju will look to play around Coffins. Flashes coming through from both sides. Almost, I believe he actually flashed his team. Herbs will fall. Cobbs has dropped Cruden. And now 1 versus 3. Dan shouldn't win this with a UMP. He's looking to get a kill here, but he falls at the hands of Blitz. The defuse will come through. And LOL 1, 2, 3. Instantly reset Corviday.
I'm really surprised. That was great work on B site with Cruden with the support. You know, getting 2 frags onto B site. Just not set up for to deal with the retake.
I don't know how that just doesn't work out. You expect those players to be holding the angles. I'm guessing that Cruden must have just turned around to try and get that refrag for the player dying backside, which I believe was Herbs. All of a sudden, he's got his back turned to Blitz. That up, it can work. That's all it had to do. Lonsdale, though, you know. You know your man's got balls when he's peeking top banana with just a rifle and holding it for so long. You know that he's got 1 shot, and sadly for him, obviously he missed it. Iron didn't, and it does give them that early single man advantage. The Blitz has rotated early, spots and drops Ares.
Wow. Nice flick of the wrist.
And the rest of the players now just going to rotate out. That early advantage instantly lost. I don't know what the point of that was from Blitz, just putting down an incendiary and then, you know, just putting a smoke right on top of it to put it out. in whatever case it may be. Iron has peeked around looking for the frag. Does manage to drop
that's
Cobbs.
two.
Leaves Soju the only player alive on site. Iron can come round, but no, Dan's will drop him. The bomb plan will come through. And Iron's got his hands onto an M4 as well. This is entirely manageable as Blitz. No, I believe they're actually just opting to save early.
Smart move. But that's really built the momentum for Corvidae. Iron opening up 2 kills with a Deagle. Deagle again, what a game changer. That's been one of the most impressive gun displays we've seen in the last 2 maps. People just taking it to the opposition with the Deagle. It's doing the damage.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at that LoL 1-2-3 economy, they kind of need to save. They've not really got much else they can do. A single round loss bonus isn't going to get them full rifles out, but luckily Blitz and Stat needs the money for himself, but Blitz is able to at least drop something over, even if it is just some pistols, maybe get that out to support him. Maybe it's just dropping a single M4, giving it to maybe someone like Lonsdale and trust him to hold on to that B site. I do wonder, they will be able to get the full buyout, and that is absolutely crucial. It does at least give Corvidae a slight challenge, should they try and push, well, any site at this point.
I'm really interested to see where they plant this AWP for the CTs, whether he's playing banana, jungle. Looks like he must be playing on B site. Aggressive line.
No, I do believe he's actually playing, maybe even somewhere over towards A, possibly Arch side is generally where we see Blitz play with that AWP. He's the man that I want to frag, and indeed, that is where he is sitting. The bomb up in apartments, just looking to possibly flood out here, maybe even push those 2 players up top mid at the same time, try and catch Blitz out, but Soju was right in there, just trying to get a bit of damage off as well. Cruden will be able to put the Molotov down, pushes down, drops Soju, Cobbs gets the trade back. Cruden though, the fire will work for him. And you do wonder if maybe LoL 1-2-3 will already be looking to save here, but no, they do still move towards this site. 1 frag going down will be the difference, and nope, that's it, they are saving.
Cruden doing all the work there, coming out balcony. He just Rambo'd straight out there. Got control of the A site with opening 2 frags. He did all the work. He's taking on like a burden for the team, but it's paying off with kills in his favor as well.
You know you're doing something right when 1 player gets 2 kills and that's the entire round shut down. You know it's just beautiful. And Iron, he can afford to go on the hunt here. They've got no time to actually get to the bomb, get to the site. Looking around, he gets a bit of damage off. Now Lonsdale has to back off even further. Stat and Blitz still going to be holding for those extra pushes, but either way, he's kept them back. He's prevented them getting their hands on any extra AKs, any extra rifles. LoL 1-2-3. They have now lost just a couple in a row. We'll be able to just keep those 2 pistols. Not even going to buy anything. It's a full save from every player on the team, knowing that they need to get rifles out into the next. But
what have we seen
will
here?
be able to drop Soju. Blitz was attempting to go for a boost over, try and get a sneaky angle into mid. He is able to drop Herbs though. Looks for the second, drops Cruden. Down to the 4 versus 3, and instantly LoL 1-2-3 with an advantage. Will fall at the hands of Dan's though. And now these players rotating through 2 M4s and a single USP. That'll be the USP through the smoke. Won't cause any damage. Iron will be able to get this bomb planted. And now they just have to be very much aware of the 2 M4s trying so hard for this retake. Ares will be able to spot out 1, drops Lonsdale. And that should be the cue that it's all over for LoL 1-2-3. But they've both gotten their hands on rifles. Cobbs with the AK. If he can push up, maybe get a kill. It's entirely, I suppose, plausible. But Stat, he has the kit. If he falls, you know it's all over. Goodbye, Cobbs. Ares will fall, but too late, too sorry. He will be able to pick up the AK and run. Corvidae's bank as well has been relatively well built, as Iron will fall. If Dan's can just catch him pushing into Mexico, he might be able to stop this AK being saved, and indeed he does. Forces LoL 1-2-3 to go on that full rebuy. But sadly for Corvette, they also lost 4 players.
Well, the CTs had no utility that round, but Blitz almost changed the round with his AWP. I didn't favour the CTs going into it, not having any smokes or nades or flashes. They really did rely on the AWP player to get those opening picks. They went for the boost mid, but Cruden caught them off guard, and he got the first frag, and that would have probably tilted the CTs. But on Inferno, like, utility is so important to keep the T's at bay, to waste time, to put the pressure back onto them. Yeah, so you can sort of sit back and just defend your site, stop the plant.
I suppose you think about it, you look at Banana, and, you know, a flash, it holds a T back about 20 meters. A Molotov, everything, it can just hold those players back because they don't want to push it for fear that you've got 3 players sitting on the other side. They can't afford to give up their own positioning, and all of a sudden, you know, you've got these players just pushing willy-nilly, all of a sudden you've got everyone dead. They need at least a little bit of utility, whether it's used early, whether it's used late, just in Banana alone, let alone the rest of the map. The push, looking as though it may come towards B site. Execute, just come over a couple of smokes, possibly just to try and bait out a rotation.
Also to bait out the defending mollies, smokes, that's what they're trying to use so that when they do execute onto the site, they don't have anything to counter them with.
Yeah, the last thing, it's all well and good putting out a smoke and a flash to, I suppose, counter and execute, but if you've got those Molotovs and HEs, that's what can do the real damage and can really force you back. But Ares is able to get that first kill onto stat. He does check Planters again, but Iron pushing through CT, drops Lonsdale, expecting the second player now. Soju will possibly be caught out. Iron just playing around, takes a little bit of damage, still holding behind the sandbags. He'll drop Soju as well. Blitz and Cobbs now, they're back, they're saving. Once more, Corvette, they are on a roll. And I'm sure as Crows, I mean, you know how they are about bread rolls. I see that very silent smile you're giving me.
I'm speechless, I'm not sure what to say, really.
I think Blitz will be speechless as well, given that they didn't kill a single member of the Corvette side in that round. And LOL 1-2-3, 11 rounds in, have only a single round lead. It's all good positioning.
Well, this is great. I mean, it was a 5-0 lead for LOL 1-2-3, and now it's 6-5. So, you know, Corvade's found their way back into the game, and I'm favouring them going forward. I think they've got the edge over them. It's a matter of just having the economy in their favour. CTs, like 3 rounds back, they don't have any utility to support their rifles. Probably a mistake.
Yeah.
The economy, the CTs are struggling to...
Yeah, but Cruden,
Nice.
He'll be able to pick up a double. Iron picks up the third. It is obviously a nice stack. Lonsdale gets a single, but Dens is there to finish it off. And Corvette, they even up the scoreline, boosting their own money rather significantly as well. LOL 1-2-3 with max loss bonus now have to search for these rounds. And as I always wonder, does Corvette's momentum just grow and they just don't stop?
For a T-side team on Inferno, I'm not too sure. Like, momentum's a hard thing to keep going, just because of the angles, and like I've been trying to explain before, just utility, it stops you from being able to progress. It really makes you uncomfortable. You take early damage, you get into a duel, you're going to lose those duels because you don't have 100 HP. Momentum is very hard on Inferno. I think it's easier on the CT side. T side, if you can get away with it, that's a really good thing. That's a positive thing.
Yeah, and even more positive is that Cobbs actually picks up 2 of the first kills into this round. I mean, the only round that Corvette have actually lost 2 players in quite a few now. But it will be still an attempt to execute out onto the safe side. They've left the bomb behind, and Ares just smacks Cruden with her bullet, drops him down to 55 as well. And I suppose the key here is that both Blitz and Cobbs do only have 18 points of health between them. Blitz is able to drop Ares as Iron pushes out onto this B site. Cruden left 1v5. This round, it should be all over. At the same time, you've got 3 players with less than 10, well, almost less than 10. I'm looking at you, Blitz. Almost less than 10 points of health. And at least one of those is on the A site.
Just for everybody at home, the X-ray is something that only we can see. The gamers themselves, the players, they cannot see the outline around the player.
We wish we could. It'd be nice too. But Cruden, he's picked up 1, he's picked up 2. He's looking for the 3rd.
Wow.
Luckily, Soju's able to peek around an area. His little tag on Cruden costs him just a little bit. Gives him that easy body shot. But LOL123 have not reset Corvidae. And Corvidae will be able to buy right up until the end of this half. So we could easily see them come back, make this 8-7. But this is the tightest game I suppose we're expecting tonight.
Oh, this is a really tight matchup. I mean, Cruden's playing sensational right now. He is playing awesome. Like, he's getting all the entry frags. He's supporting his teammates perfectly. He's getting kills with mollies. We need RBZ to step up for Corvidae right now. He's the difference. And he's our, you know, I think we need to call up Blackout to go running over there and knock this guy, like, on the shot, knock him out.
No,
he's already a bit of a knockout at the moment.
We don't promote violence here. But we do promote virtual shooting.
Come on.
As Soju is able to pick up 2. Cruden pushes out, picks up a double. And Stat and Lonsdale left to try this retake. Cruden's head just spotted out. Go on, just spam through the wall. He won't. But Stat does manage to drop him. Brings it down to that 2 versus 2 retake. This could be the difference here between maybe even a 9-6 to LOL123 and the 8-7 to Corvidae. At the very least, these CTs being held off. They are going to try and retake this together and go for
Taking bomb.
at least
The
the
pressure's
trade
on.
frag. That flash comes through. That's 1 for Dans. And Lonsdale now. 1 versus 2. It's not on for him. He's just going to back out. He's going to grab that AWP. He probably wants to get a little bit further away from the site than that. He's looking for the kills, but they don't have the money to lose this AWP. He'll get away. But my goodness. Corvidae just holding on, keeping those 2 players alive.
Who wants this more? That's right. Corvidae. I think they want it. They want to get to Auckland. They want to play at the Sky City. They are down for this game. They're ready. They're turning up. I think big plays. Cruden is going huge. Like, that's 17 kills. He's carrying RBZ right now. RBZ is going, mate, I'm just in your backpack. Take me with you. I want to, you know, I'll get in your luggage. Let's go.
Yeah, I think he's actually more so that Iron just wants to meet me. But you know, he'd be a little bit starstruck. I could understand that, and I don't blame him. But LOL123 have got a very poor buyout for this final round. MP9, UMP for Mars and a CZ. If Stat can get a bit of damage off, it could be useful. But Blitz, he has no armor behind that AWP. I don't know why he has no armor behind that AWP, but that AWP should probably be passed over to at least someone else at the moment, barring the fact that he picks up an entire ace here. Iron just popping off his own shots, looking for whatever he may get. And luckily for LOL123, it won't be any of their heads just yet. Peeking through, Herbs. Almost able to catch the player out at the end of carpet. Lonsdale doesn't do any damage with that nade, really. And Corvidae, well, if they get at least a push onto a site, at least pick up 1 frag here, you'd think that the opening frag is the difference between them taking out this half and possibly even it may be going very oddly in the favour of LOL123.
It's really interesting how the CTs play this B side. They really are quite stiff. Like, there's no backing down from their defensive B hold.
Cobbs will go down. That's a UMP gone. Soju with the CZ, the only player left to hold this site, but he will be successful enough to drop Cruden. The push, however, is coming over towards B. We've only got 15 seconds to play with. Ares is able to drop Blitz, expecting the player behind the stack. Will drop Stat, and that means that the bomb plant can come through. Iron will be able to get it down if they can prevent that. Would almost be all over, but now Soju, 1 versus 4. The poor fella coming up banana.
Get out of here, Ares! Opening with a flashbang in your face. Oh, mate!
Is able to look for Iron, but sadly cannot find him. And Corvidae.
18 frags! Cruden, my boy! Okay, he's not my boy, whatever, but man, I'm raving on about him right now because he made a huge impact for Corvidae. And technically he's not the guy. He's not their go-to guy to do this. He's stepping up for the lads. They're gonna be amped about that. They're gonna think, how can we, support him? This guy is, he's doing everything for us right now.
I do have to wonder how much of this actually comes down to a possible change of role for him from previous squads that he's been with. Whether it's actually because now he doesn't have to play that support role as much, whether the fact that you can even see Ares is the man with the smoke and the kit, but Iron is the man with the one tap and the second onto stat. He's looking for the third. I wouldn't do that, Lonsdale. You're the man with the bomb. There's Cruden pushing around, drops Cobbs. And the two remaining players, one has no armor, the other is very much scared that Iron will be hunting him, and so they choose to head up towards this B site. Being held onto by only a single player, the smoke will come through, and that'll give away the positioning. Herbs, though, will have spotted them both. Just backs away, possibly expecting them to come through CT. But it does look as though they may get the plant. Lonsdale will be putting it down. Nobody there to prevent him. But Soju gets the first headshot onto Herbs, looking for the second. Onto Iron, but he won't get it. Iron looking for the 4K himself. Comes up, Ares will pick up the final kill. And Iron has plenty of time to defuse the bomb. But Corvidae will start off this second half nice and smoothly, I suppose.
And this is what LoL 123 have to worry about. Momentum on the CT side is a lot easier. We were talking about that in the first half. Corvidae, good economy now. T's struggling. Corvidae, MP9.
There's a chance to build the economy here, and that comes down to Dans and Herbs. LoL 123, they've gone for that full eco. Now, quite often you might see them maybe buy down to 2k, maybe buy a P250, maybe a CZ, depending on what exactly they want. But this is absolute full eco, and Dans will be paying off. The MP9's picking up 3 kills nice and early, and Iron will be able to drop Lonsdale. Cobbs now left 1 versus 5. Maybe? Just on burst fire, drops Dans. Herbs finishes off with an MP9. So a nice little bit of money there. The only person not to get a kill with an SMG, Iron. But look at that, instantly, the bank. 5.5 grand on Dans, enough at least for an up for Herbs. What more can you ask for? As we have actually seen the pause come through, and I can only assume, at the very least, that this will be LoL 123 just calling for a tactical. Maybe just seeing if they can get something out of this. Maybe does not seem to be, I suppose, anything technical. So maybe if they can get something, maybe they get these AKs working. Is the only assumption. That's the only assumption I can actually make. They're trying to figure out what to do with them.
How can they break down their defense? They might be talking about what they've seen in previous matches. They've done their work clearly on watching the demos. Being able to counter the CT pistol round and the defensive buy rounds. So they'll be looking to see what they can deliver.
Yeah, how are Corvidae going to play this? How have Corvidae played this in the past where the team's got that bomb plant, they've come into this third round? Do Corvidae usually upgrade the weapons? Do Corvidae keep their old weapons? And we can see that Dans, using his brains at least a little bit, has opted to upgrade. Iron peeking down towards that bottom mid area. Won't be getting lucky just yet. But Blitz looking to peek out, might be Iron's crux, and he indeed is. Annihilates him, and the push can now come towards this A site. The 2 remaining players over here, including Cruden, looking to get a bit of damage off. Ares popping a few shots through the smoke. Won't find any damage. And just backs away, but Herb's still holding nice and close behind those logs with the MP9. Dans to push up into apartments could be crucial. If he picks up a kill, he could find it. But no, he's dropped back down to the pit. And LoL 123 just looking for some space now. Stat looks like he's actually about to peek around, and in library is indeed Ares. Could be the man to drop him, but no, he's very concerned that they may push through CT. Instead, we'll be able to drop Stat. Soju now has to go on the hunt. He will drop him. Still leaves Cruden on the site, though. Cruden falls, and Dans will be able to pick up 1. Looking for a second. The bomb plant should be coming through. Dans will get it. Nice, my goodness. They can't get that bomb onto the site now with 30 seconds remaining. He drops Soju. He's looking for the quad. Herbs will fall, but he's dropped Blitz to 9. 8 points of health, sorry. Dan's is just going to get on site now. And my goodness, what a perfect way to play this. Blitz still expecting him to be down towards that pit area. If Dan's peeks up, this kill is all his. Blitz will fall. Dan's with the 4K when his team looks almost so lost.
That pit play was brilliant. Just so hard to, you know, isolate him from everybody else, have all the T-side players who have gone jungle being able to focus on pit. He played that angle really well. He was hard to kill, and he stayed alive.
Yeah, you can tell Denz knew we were watching him there, just giving us a little nod like, yeah, you know what I just did. You saw me. You saw me come through. You want to see more of it, don't you? And to be fair, I kind of would like to see a little bit more of that, Denz. As Corvidae do manage to pull out 4 more M4s supporting him. Just the pistols up. 4 or 1, 2, 3. CZs, obviously. PD50s, maybe get a couple of nice 2 taps and see if they can pull through. Denz will pick up the first kill. Possibly expecting the second player to push in apartments, and indeed, he's on fire. See what I did there. Cruden will drop Soju to finish it off, not losing a single player. And Corvidae now leading by 5 rounds, having been down by 4 right at the start of the game. It's a turnaround. That's all you can really call it.
Full utility, nades, mollies. T-side players going to be struggling to get map control to be able to set up for those executes. Do they try to push through the banana nades, get deep, try to get an early pick, or
no? But
are they going to have the opportunity to do that?
Stat takes a lot of damage there. I believe he was full white, walks almost into another Molotov, and just barely survives. Nade comes back over, does a bit of damage to Ares. He's also heavily tagged down. And I suppose neither of these players really want to see each other right now. Cobbs just going to be holding down at that entrance to the CT-sided apartments. And Stat still going to be the man looking for the entry, even with just 17 points of health. Soju there almost to trade him, but he's going to be going in basically on his own. Instead, just going to hold back at card, just hold an angle. As the CTs, they're essentially just playing a regular 3-2 setup, and so far it looks as if it's going to work for them. But Ares, he's got the A1S, and this thing, if you don't see those traces through the smoke, well, it could be all over. Herbs spots 1, spots 2, drops 2, looking for the third. I guess the tag. Ares is able to peek through, drops Lonsdale. Blitz gets 1 back, but it's not going to be enough. The bomb has been dropped. If Herbs peeks out here, it's an easy frag for him. If he gets it right, he drops Blitz. Looking for Cobbs. Won't be able to drop him, but 1 versus 3. He shouldn't be able to pull this off. Tapping down towards CT. Trying to get his hands on the bomb. He does. He plants directly behind the fountain. Prevents anybody getting at him. I'm surprised Danz hasn't been able to put out that nade, but it is actually Cruden and Iron on that retake from that area. So that single damage nade won't be able to flush him out just yet. Cobbs looking to get something here, but Iron will drop him. And Corvidae will pick up their 13th round, leading it out by 6. And now I can see why Corvidae wanted this map.
Yeah, Lob 123 really struggled to know what to do. Like, with the banana control, the progression, with the nades, they're sort of looking at each other. What do we do now, guys? Where do we go? And that's sort of what you sort of hit when you play Inferno. These nades and mollies, they hold you back, and if you don't have a player that's getting the opening pick, making room for you to be able to press through halls or up banana, it shuts you down. That's a huge push from Ian right there, probably to catch them off guard, but he fails pretty miserably.
Yeah, flashes come over, Stat drops 1. It will be Ares going down, but Herbs picks up a single, trying to look for some more. Leaves Cruden and Danz now 2 versus 4. 2 players heavily tagged, Soju minor tag. Danz just looking to play around, find possibly the player that killed Iron, but he won't get that kind of look at the moment, as these T's are already through into construction. Lonsdale does take a little bit of damage from that nade, and we'll just re-smoke CT, give himself a path through. Cruden with those shots won't be able to hit anything. Danz though, he's already on the flank, and Cobbs peeking through. It's given away at least one of these players' positions. That smoke will hold him off just for a moment. Cruden looking for deep ground, gets a very A little bit of damage taken off him. Drops Soju, isn't expecting the player pushing him close. Will be able to drop Lonsdale though. Dan's pushing through, takes out Cobbs. Blitz now left 1 versus 2. He has to find this player, has to find Cruden, has to find one of them. He will be able to drop Dan's. He drops Cruden, and LOL123 will be able to pick up a round on this T side. Their first of what they now need to turn into many.
I really didn't see the CTs getting that close that round, but they really turned it around, and that says so much about their confidence. Cruden again, with 2 frags, on a 2v4 retake. Corvidae are capable of doing anything right now. LOL123, I think Iron made a huge mistake playing the aggression. Right now, the CT defense is really strong, and the retakes are even stronger.
I don't know if he made a mistake on the aggression, or more so the lack of selecting a person to kill. He had 2 targets, he tried to kill them both, he did half damage to each of them. If he gets rid of at least one of the, you know, he focuses one player, he gets rid of him, he then may have the time on that second player, he may have at least a little bit more of a chance. There's always a chance he does just get instantly refragged, but
it's simply not necessary at this point in the game when everything else is working, the teamwork. It's an isolation play. He's trying to make a play for his teammates, but his teammates don't need that right now. The angles, the defensive setups, and the retakes are clean. Like, they aren't making anything wrong there. Going for that first pick, yeah, I understand the first pick can help in a lot of scenarios. Right now, when everything else is working, go with what works.
yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I suppose that's the motto you could use. The thing that I find rather interesting is you've got 3 A1Ss up on the side of Corvidae, compared to where you'd usually see 4 A4s. It's very rare to see more than maybe 1 A1 on a side, but hey, this is what we're at the moment. And Stat just looking for that aggression towards his B side. He pushes through Herbs, gets a little bit aggressive. That smoke is not good enough in terms of positioning. Stat is just going to peek around and will be able to drop Ares as well. Let's give them a free push through to this A site. And my goodness, Stat and Soju. No, he misses it initially, but he is still on that site. He's looking. Blitz will drop him, and Iron left 1 versus 4. He's just trying to. No! They've caught him with the time! What? Oh my lord, LOL123, they just wasted their time!
What? What was...
That was all on Dan's, and
that?
he pulled it off.
What was that? We saw that last week. They're so slow that they ran out of time. And come on, Soju. Check that spot, man. You play. Oh.
How do you plan an? You know what?
Okay. You know what?
That's fine.
You know, we see everything in this game.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Full of surprises.
The best part is that there was still 3 players alive. So the fact that they all missed out on the money. Luckily, keeping their weapons though.
Oh, 1G. Fire up.
I don't know. That is alright, let's just calm down. We'll yeah, we'll review that at a later date. Possibly just see if maybe Dallas and Blackout want to have a chat about that later. But Corvidae are now within 2 points of taking this map. The problem being though, 3 of their players on UMPs, 1 on an MP9 and 1 on a FAMAS. None of them have exactly powerful weapons, but that will be a little bit of damage being done, at least onto Soju. Peeking around, Ares able to drop 1, but Stat with the spray transfer drops 2. Through the smoke will have to come at least one of these players. Cruden looking with this UMP, but pushing. He's not going to find much damage with it. Iron just looking. Maybe he just needs to save this from us. They've got at least a couple of rounds to play with either side of this 14. So maybe not giving it up too early. And indeed, they will not. They will just back off and save. They do have that armor. They have no kits, but the utility Dan's with the flash and a Molotov. It's worth holding on to.
Yeah, clearly LOL123, they aren't giving it up. I mean, that's a round that can tilt you mentally. Losing like the way they did can sometimes, you know, throw you over the board where you just want the match to end, you know. Console, quit. boom, out of there. But you know, they came back with a round win. They want to get here. They want to get to Auckland. They know that this game is important. It's 0-2 in the league right now. They need this win. A comeback is on the cards. They just need to do it.
0-3, you're basically gone. And that's the biggest problem here. If they pick up at least one here, it puts Corvidae on edge, at least a little bit. It puts Darksided slightly on edge. If Corvidae pick this up, the only team they have to put on edge is Darksided. And Law 1, 2, 3 and Disorder, sad to say, if Law 1, 2, 3 don't come here, both of those teams will be out. But this double stack on Planters, I really hope they go towards B now.
Meat shield? Is that what this is?
I think it might be a meat shield play, but 4 players over towards the A site will be trying to prevent any sort of meat shield play and just try and annihilate that single player over, which is Iron. Hey, if there's a man that I'd kind of want in this situation, it's him!
Oh.
And he does pick up one. Blitz will trade him back. But instantly, this A site, it's wide open. The bomb will rotate up there. And Corvidae, I wonder if they're already deciding on a save.
Nice.
They're not moving. No. Corvidae aren't moving at all.
No, just scared of the shadows at the moment.
Yep. They will, hey! At least they're checking the site properly this time. Rather than the debacle that we had before.
That tilted me. And probably tilted everybody at home.
Either way, Corvidae will save. They'll give Law 1, 2, 3 a 10th round and allow them to at least bring it just that little bit closer. Just edging away, trying to pick up rounds as and when they can. But for Corvidae, what have they really got to worry about at the moment? They only need 2 rounds out of the next possible 5.
Well, trailing 5 rounds, trailing 4 rounds, yeah, it's not something that's really difficult to tackle, is it? I mean, it's not that far out of reach. They can definitely come back and win this. They got that round pretty easily, convincing fashion.
Yeah, and it's a shame you sort of look at that score when you see that Herbs is so far behind compared to Cruden up on 22, whereas Law 1, 2, 3, it's more of that, I'm not going to say it's more of a team effort, but you look at their kills and assists, everything combined, it just looks a little bit cleaner, even if it is just a little bit lower than what Corvidae obviously have. P250's got to be supplementing those UMPs.
Great nades.
As those nades blitz to a single point of health. You could go up to him and give him a hug and he would die at this point. Sadly in Counter-Strike you cannot hug, but you can stab. So maybe that's it'll be a bit overkill, to be fair. Corvidae, I suppose they'll be looking to try and get these kills with the UMPs. Not so much for the money, but for the kills, obviously. And it will see Lonsdale fall. Soju picks up 1. He's going to be able to drop down and annihilate Cobbs as well. And already, Law 1, 2, 3 right back on edge. Is this going to be Corvidae heading up to map point? Iron, he's got the P250, but Soju will drop him. Is able to drop Dens as well. And Cruden and Ares now. They've picked up a Galil and an AK. The 3 remaining players have not even 100 health between them. Then again, neither do Ares or Cruden.
That was great work from Soju just then. His teammates had next to no HP. He had to make the play for his teammates.
Cruden, though, he's pushing through from Banana. Even just a spam through the box, but no, Stat will drop him. And that's so unlucky. It now leaves Ares 1 versus 3. It's a near unwinnable situation. No kit, no clue. As the time just ticks over, he won't be able to get on that bomb, but he will be able to do a bit of damage. Pick up at least 1 player. Try and keep Stat around until that bomb goes boom.
He's away. Oh!
He's got it. And Blitz, the man with 1 HP, is the one that survives that entire round.
Yeah.
Starts
Good
out with
support.
1,
Knew
finishes
his
it
role.
with 1.
Fell into it. Fell into his role. Good play.
Corvidae, though, will get their buyout. It is AWPs, it is M4s. See the same essentially here from Law 1, 2, 3 and Blitz. Putting that flash up into mid. Flash is coming over. Smoke's coming down. Molotovs
Good
just trying to
mollies.
force them out, but Soju instantly gets his smoke out. Gets that working nicely. Herbs possibly looking to get a cross flash out here. will be putting that one up high. Gets blinded himself. And a lot of utility being used extremely early from the CTs. It could be used later in the round, but Soju, he's going to fall. Cruden picks up one stat, gets an immediate trade back. Aries, though, he's there, makes that a double trade. Dan's drops Lonsdale. Now Blitz and Cobbs are looking for whatever they may get. Blitz down to 30 points of health. Cobbs the only player with full HP on this Law 1-2-3 side. And Iron will be able to drop him, leaves Blitz in an awkward position. Tapped by the USP. Corvidae map match point, possibly to annihilate Law 1-2-3 from this tournament.
Good choice of tactics to play the B aggression, to get banana control, the nades doing the damage, T-side players peeking into 2 lined up CTs. It's clever play. It's a good time to play, make a play like that. Corvidae, they're doing their job well.
I don't think there's much more they could ask for. Iron, he's going to peek it. Peeks again, drops Blitz. And instantly Law 1-2-3 will be on edge. They don't know where to go. Iron's able to back away for essentially free. Cobbs will be peeking around into apartments. That flash absolutely catches him off guard. Peeks will be able to drop Dan's. Iron can't get the refrag and brings it to that 4-on-4. The A site, whilst not open, now only has 2 players holding on for a 4-man push. Make it no men holding on. And Corvidae down to 2. Site wide open. And once again, they're checking every corner this time.
At least they're learning their lessons.
Yeah, learn from experience. And Corvidae will also be able to do that, giving them this 12th round. And nope, they're not going to opt for that. I was wondering if they were going to opt for that double up setup, but Cobbs did pick it up, and then obviously Blitz just goes, yeah, no, we only need one. I do wonder whether maybe Corvidae saving these 2 weapons, will they force up behind it into the next round? Will they maybe just save? Maybe allow Law 1-2-3 up to 13 and then, you know, force out a nice full buy again?
Economy's playing on both their minds right now. Both being very careful, not going for the chase for the CT rifles. Every round counts. Break your economy, lose the game.
Yeah, and it will indeed be a couple of deagles here. CZ on Cruden, just trying to, I suppose, bring something back here. Law 1-2-3 need to pick up this round. I mean, Corvidae, this could be one of those rounds where they're so on edge that maybe we see another timeout, and all of a sudden, Corvidae are sort of coming through on top. Stat just playing towards that top mid area, looking for a possible kill. I believe they actually have 1 rifle on each site, and it'll actually be Iron just peeking through. A couple of nades going out towards that top mid area. Blitz looking through. Iron will be peeking around, just looking to get one of these kills. This 1D needs to come through. Stat looking. Iron is still just holding, waiting. He's spotted and he's dropped by Stat. Smoke will go down. 2 players now for this A site. They are just going to try and hold on. Aries drops Soju. Will be 1 more kill to Herbs, but he's going to fall as well. A CZ and a Deagle now, 3 versus 2. It's got to be difficult for Corvidae to get anything on this retake. But if Cruden can at least push in here, pick up at least 1 rifle, who knows, as Dan's will look on his push to join up. Flashes are there. Cruden is definitely hunting. Gets his hands onto a rifle, and he's just going to try and back out. Shots come firing through, but that AK, is this going to be crucial?
That's a great save. He's getting away with it as well.
He would have got away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids.
Overtime right now. Law 1-2-3 are chasing overtime right now. If this goes 15-15, we see an overtime where the game's extended until we decide a winner.
Can you explain how we decide a winner?
Corvidae tactical pause. Just come through.
Yeah. It looks like they're just going to be holding on. And I suppose they've got enough money to buy in here, but they also have to take that into consideration whether it's almost not worth buying. Is it, I suppose, is it more worth just saving? I mean, they've all got $4,000. Their loss bonus is not going to be enough to supplement that into a 30th round. I suppose, what is it? We've got this game. It's just going hard.
Yeah, this is a tough time for Corvidae right now. The confidence is falling. They're not too sure what they can do with their economy. If they buy rifles and armor, they're not going to have enough for utility. No nades, smoke to delay. LoL 1, 2, 3 are very slow and progressive across the map. Right now, they've learnt their lesson and they're checking every single corner as they go onto the site.
Yes, and Corvidae have actually... What are we seeing? We're just seeing pistols. They are letting LoL 1, 2, 3 essentially get that 14. And so we've got LoL 1, 2, 3 here pushing for an overtime. We've got Corvidae sitting here just pushing for the win. Nice and early. Dan's, he's actually getting up onto the planter boxes just next to Diggity. Not a position you see played, well, at all. Soju looking to take a little bit of this top banana control. There is only a single player over that end, and it is Ares. Just giving a little bit of that shoulder. A little bit of a cheeky peeky. Seeing if he can find anything.
The reason he peeks the corner like that with the knife is because movement is faster with the knife, so he can peek it and get away quicker without hopefully getting killed.
If they get killed, though, they get killed. Center story. He's just going to be seeing if he can find anything. And the 4 remaining players for Corvidae are over towards that A site, where it seems LoL 1, 2, 3 will be putting out a couple of smokes. 3 players, though, for LoL 1, 2, 3 pushing up towards the B site. Blitz, he's going to get absolutely annihilated if he peeks here, and indeed, Cruden will pick up the first kill. The push now needs to come over towards this B site, but Ares playing around this smoke. If he gets a kill here, it could be all in Corvidae's hands. Smoke comes through, Ares is ready. He just pushes in here. Doesn't hold on, Soju will drop him. And now Corvidae, they will get a kill. Herbs through the smoke. Iron gets one back. Soju's gonna fall. Lonsdale in a 1 versus 4. He's only got the AK. He drops Iron. He has to find at least someone else. Try and fake that plant. He's got 6 bullets. It's gonna be all but over. Dens will drop him. And we will not see the first overtime yet in the Alpha Invitational. My God, that's one of the closest games I think we've ever had.
That was exactly what we expected right at the start of the match. We thought it was going to be really close between these two teams. It could go either way. But to finish like that, a mistake. Like, time, entries, like, LoL 1, 2, 3 are going to be kicking themselves.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know how you give it up so badly. You've got such an advantage. You know, I mean, they don't know Corvidae was playing for the win in the next round. But they had that round. It was free. All they had to do was not die. But apparently dying was all they could do.
Well, overtime? Nope. Corvidae? Through? Yes.
We definitely might be able to. We may see them coming over to Auckland, but I suppose up next for us is Darkside and Greyhound. Do you reckon that could be our first overtime?
Potentially. Looking forward to it anyway.
I mean, I'm personally doubting it, but I wonder if, Dallas, do you happen to be doubting an overtime between Darkside and Greyhound?
Well, thank you very much for that, Nutters. I mean, first of all, let's just have a quick chat about that matchup. That was just, as we talked about as well, you know, unbelievable stuff there. Thank you for joining us back at the desk. I'm Dallas Easy Fight today. Joining me, Thomas Blackout Richmond. And I mean, how did you feel about that game, Tom?
That game pretty much lived up to the expectation. It was neck and neck from the start, really. I feel like LoL 1, 2, 3 started off really, really strong, but they gave away a few rounds they didn't need to, and Corvidae sort of pulled themselves back into the game, and then they pulled away with the win, and then sort of the same thing happened where Law 123 sort of brought it back. So overall it was a very good and interesting game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it shows a lot about momentum, obviously, in the game of Counter-Strike. And Law 123, as you mentioned, great start there. Lonsdale, the leader, but also, getting himself some crucial kills at the start of the game, anchoring down that B site. What an absolute machine. But, you give Corvidae an inch and they take a mile there, it seems. They really sort of took flight, I'd say, there towards the end of the game. And, I mean, they needed to, obviously, as well, because this was very important, as we sort of mentioned, for both teams there coming into this. Corvidae trying to get themselves up to that third spot, just trailing behind Darksided, just on round difference alone. So, I mean, not the best thing when you're looking at round difference there for Corvidae, having such a tight game, but still getting themselves the win is very important. And now for Law 123, this is the big thing for them. They're going to have to, obviously... They lose control of their tournament hopes now. A lot of this now falls into, the results of other games. So how do you think that's going to affect their mentality moving forward?
It's definitely going to affect them. I'm not going to lie, knowing that you can't really do anything in your own self to push on and really qualify for the tournament hurts. I guess they're just going to have to hope for the best and hope that a few of the teams like Darksided and Corvidae can maybe slip up a little bit.
Yeah, so that's going to be a crucial thing there. So we might have mentioned it earlier. If you're just joining us, we've just seen Corvidae take down Law 123, 16-13. Almost got our first overtime of the tournament, which would have been great to see. But that was very, very close indeed. We sort of mentioned that was going to be, one of the tighter matches of the game, of the evening, earlier tonight. We did see our first matchup, Tainted Minds taking down Order to 16-8, which was really nice to see as well. Order get themselves quite a few rounds against Tainted Minds. Yeah. But now, we've got our next matchup coming through, the big one. It's going to be Greyhound Gaming taking on Darksided with their first game in the tournament under the new banner. So how do you feel these two teams are going to match up?
As I said before, I feel like it will be a somewhat close game. I think Darksided probably are going to bring their A game and really give it to Greyhounds. But at the end of the day, I feel like Greyhounds are a very, very solid team, all around. All 5 of their players play a part in their team, and they're a very solid team in terms of their teamwork and how they play with each other. So I feel like Greyhounds will come through with the win in the end, but it will be a good game.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we've sort of talked about Greyhounds. We always talk about Gratisfaction, such a standout player there. But, we'll focus on Darksided for a moment, because for them it is a must-win game. If they get this, they'll be looking very, very good moving forward into the tournament. Obviously, if they drop it, they're still going to be scrapping away there with Corvidae. So, I mean, having a look at the team, we mentioned James, always extremely very good. But, someone I'd like to see step up would be Andy tonight. How about yourself?
Andy, definitely. Andy, we're talking about before with Gratisfaction and his AWP. From what I've seen recently, Andy's actually had one of the best AWPs in the country. He's been firing on all cylinders. He's been pretty much smashing faces in the games that I've seen. So Andy is definitely a player to watch, and if they can get their economy going and they can get round after round, they have an AWP, the sniper rifle, then I feel like maybe Andy can do something special this game.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, matching up with these two teams, it's going to be interesting to see obviously how the map veto goes as well. So we'll do a little, I guess, educational session for everyone at home there. So I mean, the first thing to talk about is the teams, they pick and they ban maps before getting into them. It is very important, obviously, for the teams, because certain teams do have different strengths on the maps, depending, as we've sort of seen. So taking it back to Corvidae, very strong on Inferno, heating things up there, looking very, very good as an Inferno's team. So moving towards the tournament, other teams will notice that they are good on Inferno and try to sort of, stay away from playing Corvidae on that map. Or, as we might have seen from Law 123, which could have been why they had such a strong start, was because they go back, they have a look at the previous matches, and they can work out the strategies, and then they come up with something called a counter strat. The other thing as well would be the economy in the game, so maybe you want to talk to us a little bit about that.
The economy basically works like if you win a round, you get money. You get a lot more money as opposed to losing. However, more rounds you lose in a row, your money builds up. So say you lose 3 or 4 in a row, therefore you'll have a lot of money to be able to buy guns. However, if you win a round and then lose, your economy goes back to the start. So the economy has a big factor to play in the game. If you're continuously winning rounds, you're going to be able to buy the big guns like the snipers, the M4s, the AKs. If you're winning a round and then losing and then not winning so many rounds, you're going to be buying pistols, or you're going to be saving up to get those rifles. So it can be quite unfair if you're not winning the rounds needed to get a control on the economy.
So for anyone, obviously who's new to Counter-Strike and new to joining us here on Sky TV, that's one of the big things is you see some players obviously not picking up the best guns every single round, and that would be why. That's why they have to work their way up to them, and certain guns, obviously, they give you a little bit more money depending on, you getting a kill with the SMG or a shotgun or anything like that, and then you work your way up to the bigger guns there. But now coming into this matchup, we just talked a little bit about the side of Darksided. Anyone sort of on the side of Greyhound you want to sort of highlight? Dexter's been a big standout player for us here. Who do you have your eye on?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I have my eye on Dexter. I think he's a very, very good player actually. He played overseas last year. He got the opportunity to go and represent a Australian team who went and played in America for a while, and he definitely was one of the better players in that team. And ever since he's come back, he's really shown that he is a top player in the scene. He can frag. He also is very good at leading a team, and he's just got a solid head on his shoulders. I really feel like he's a good player.
And I guess one of the big things about that, going over, playing in a different scene, playing with different players and playing on that sort of scale, how do you think that sort of affects, his personal skill and growth as a player?
Oh, it affects it a lot. If you play... you're playing in Australia, you feel somewhat confident. If you go overseas and you play against the best players in the world and you actually can get results and show that you can compete with these players and teams, it really gives you the confidence to come back to Oceania and, not without being cocky, but that you're a level above most of these players, and that you can destroy these players, and that just gives you the confidence to do so.
Destroy them, I like that. And so, from any of your personal experiences, playing professional Counter-Strike, any of these players, have certain, I guess, maybe sort of standout skills which, they sort of bring to each of their teams?
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's a lot of players that have a lot of... Some players are more, they just focus on their aim, they're more reliant on their aim, running around. There's a lot of players that bring a lot of, teamwork aspects to the game. They like to flash their teammates in. They're not so flashy with their play, They like to set up their teammates. They like to do a lot of that sort of stuff, which doesn't get seen in Counter-Strike a lot. Most of the players just get praised for hitting the big deagle shots, hitting the nice sniper shots. But there's a lot of players in the scene that really help their team get over the line, and they go unnoticed.
Well, we've been yarning for a while. Let's not keep you away from any more of the action. Let's get right into it here. It's going to be Darksided in their first match under the new banner, taking on Greyhound Gaming. Let's throw it over to our casters, Nutters and Wayfarer. Here we go, guys.
Yeah, cheers for that, Dallas. And as you say, this is Darksided in the Alpha Invitational, taking on, obviously, Greyhound. It's their first game under the banner. Is this going to be an absolutely amazing performance coming out from Darksided, or are we just going to see Greyhound keep on rolling?
Well, Darksided have been playing really well lately. They were unfortunate against Corvidae, so this is a must-win for them. To be able to go forward, they need to, cause some upsets. They need to play out Greyhounds to the best of their ability, and they need to show some of the form that they've shown recently. Darksided picking them up. They picked them up for a reason, and that's because they see potential. Yeah. And where these guys are going, they're going to be one of the best teams in Australia real soon. Are they ready for tonight? I'd like to say they're hyped and they've got the form to be able to do it. They carry some class with some of the players having experience, internationally and nationally. Where does that leave them tonight against Greyhounds? A well-structured team? I'm not too sure, but Keish is a good matchup.
I don't know if Darksided actually have a coach yet, and I'll be honest, that's actually one of the huge talking points. Greyhound, if they want a coach, they can basically get one. They can play with and sort of work with whoever they want, and unluckily, I don't know if Darksided also sort of have that liberty, whether they are able to just sort of stop and keep it going. Noisia, he's got a lot of smoke and money. He's smoke and flashes. Interesting to see how he plays with these. James has gone for a deagle. Big dig plays here, as the push will be heading up. Looking to stack it ever so slightly outside A main. Cache is not a map that we actually see played too often, or have barely actually seen played at all.
Well, it's the first time in Let's Play Live this league so far, but it's one of my favourite maps to watch and spectate. A lot of teams do ban it.
Yeah, it just depends on how you're feeling on the day. But James, just peeking around A main. The CT's relatively happy to just stack in their corners on this A site. As Dexter will just be waiting. The smoke comes out. Flash. Shot fires off. James is going to get caught out. Dexter with 1-2, not a third. SK picks up Dexter, but Dick, Stacy, and Burn get 2 back. Noisy, the man with no armor, will be able to pick up Dick Stacy though. Pushing through. Greyhound will pick up the first round. Greatest Faction getting that final kill. And Dark-Sided, they don't get any bomb plant. They get very little out of that, but that first 2-tap from Dexter.
I mean, and he missed the first bullet with that. If he got that kill, he might have got 3k. But what I love about that play is that they set up for the 2 players to die from MBK and Quad. Grat was sitting there baiting his teammates, setting up for the round 1. It was, you know, a clever and quirky little trick.
Does get a tag off onto Dick Stacy there with that deagle, but sadly won't turn into much. But yeah, on that previous round, you generally expect maybe 2 players on A, 1 in mid, 2 on B. So as soon as you sort of clear out those 2 players on A, you think, oh, must be wide open for me. All of a sudden, that man just hiding back of Quad comes through and finishes you off. Noisia looking for something, and we'll note that Dark-Sided have bought up full armor and deagles, like a bomb plant, meaning that if they can get this anti-eco, all the better for them. Noisia just misses that jump. We'll take a little bit of damage from it, and we'll just peek around, looking towards that highway area. Stacy gets 1 deagged. Lovely work.
Back to where he left us last week. Big plays.
Yeah, absolutely. As SK will drop in, but James will fall early. Burn looking for a second. He will get it. Looking for the third. He gets it as well.
Huge.
My goodness. Looking for this UMP ace almost. That flash. Void will just avoid. He avoids it. And Void, he does push in. He does kill Burn. Trying to get at least out somewhere near this site. Urkast puts that flash through. Will be able to catch out Void in himself. Andy, though, gets the nice running dig onto Urkast.
Yeah, despite these round losses, I think Dark-Sided are well warmed up for this. Yeah, there's some sharp headshots. Yeah, on point at the moment. Well, I think we're going to see more of that this match. I think it's going to be a bit tighter than the last match.
Yes, and Dark-Sided now just down. Not really buying much into this P250s. I find that kind of interesting that they'd even bother buying anything on this third round, knowing that they get, well, very little out of it. Greyhound have upgraded Burn onto the M4, but it'll be Greatest Faction to pick up that first kill. And already pushing deep in mid, Urkast and Dexter, 1 and 2. Dick Stacy drops the third. Andy now left 1v, well, 0v5. That early aggression does pay off for Greyhound. And Dark-Sided will pull out what should be a fair few AKs here. 5 nice, shiny, brand new AKs. 5 sets of armor. Greyhound keeping those UMPs and that MP9 up, so I do find it interesting if they get a couple of kills, not only for boosting the money, but at the very least, just ripping through and taking those AKs back.
This is a lot cleaner than from what we've seen previous weeks. Dark-Sided look a lot more fine-tuned. They're supporting each other with nades and progressing the map slowly.
Oh,
They look
okay.
tidy.
Just peeks above the smoke. I don't know what he could spot. I will mention that the view we get is ever so slightly different to what the players see. The smokes can be modelled slightly differently due to the way CSGO actually, I suppose, registers everything. But the only thing it has to register at the moment is Void going ham, picking up a nice double, pushing out to the A site. And it leaves Dark-Sided with their push towards B, almost leaving it wide open. James will be able to push up, and the site essentially free to them. 2 players trying to push up through heaven here in Burn and Urkast. James takes a little bit of damage, almost gets annihilated, but that Molotov could force him back. It does indeed. He won't take the damage from it. Don't walk into it though, please. As Burn just boosted up on top of Urkast, looking for Noisia, who will just be able to plant this without taking much damage. Keeps himself just down low enough. Peeks around and annihilates Burn. He knows that second player is up there now. And I do believe SK may look to go on the hunt. Possibly push through tree. And the two remaining players are just hanging around that CT spawn and Zcon area in possibly the attempts of finding at least one kill.
That's a good round from the T-sided players. Early momentum. It was a little bit late on the plant, but they recovered well. They didn't make any mistakes and come out with a win.
Yeah, picking up their first round in the 4, first rifle being the key. The only problem is that Greyhound, they did have that disadvantage of weaponry. And I do wonder if now being able to buy in with what could be an advantage on that AWP on Grant could change up exactly how we see this next round play out.
I'll be interested to see how he uses his AWP tonight, whether he's focused on the just middle alone, or whether he rotates it to get an early pick on to counter the T-side players. You know, you've got the B line, you've got squeak door push, you've got an A main push.
And he actually does get that tag through the garage door nice and early onto SK, drops him to 29. And that is absolutely beautiful. Noisia will be looking for something. Burn has been boosted up into vents. And as soon as those are popped, he has a chance to just peek out if he does so wish. Dexter holding a high angle over into A main. It's a cheeky little smoke, and it just covers off. I believe that might leave a little gap if they had an upper back towards that quad area. Void just making a bit of noise out towards that squeaky door. Just opening and closing, just trying to at least play that bait and switch. And indeed, he will just put that over straight into vents, and that'll catch Burnout, force him back. Lovely Molotov coming through. As Dark-Sided now, it seems though they want to push towards this A site, but they are aiming to get at least a little bit of mid-control. Burn, push right back up, drops Noisia. It'll be Dick Stace picking up a double as they push bottom mid, and instantly this push has been shut down. Dexter just looking on the hunt. Tapping away, drops James, drops Void. And Greyhound bring it right back in with these rifles.
Yeah, that was great play on mid control. With 44 seconds, a mid execute that late, it's always putting you under trouble. Maybe a bit faster, getting up to highway. Not too sure, but the kill, the reboost, get it back into vent with Burn pushing and making the kill on Void was really important. You know, that enables him to be able to flank the mid players that could possibly get through to highway.
Yeah, but it didn't really matter about them getting through the highway with Dick Stacy hold up and just absolutely smashing them. And he shot through the smoke. He finds Burn. Lovely work. Doesn't take any damage either. And over the top of the smoke, though, will be Urcast. Over the box he goes. Grabs the AK, and he's just trying to get rid of these weapons as well. Great idea from him. If he can at least get them away from the Ts, it means that these Deagles and CZs are the only thing they can possibly work with. Void will be backing out of that A main area. James is going to go up over boost. Possibly see if he can find a pick in mid. But it does seem that Dick Stacy playing at white box may just have the advantage. Dexter will have spotted James out. Peeks round, spots out Void as well, drops him. Tapping away at James, will drop him as well, dropping at the second and the third. Dick Stacy looking for the final kills. Noija's managed to drop Dexter. But Dick Stacy, he knows where he is. Gratisfaction is able to go for that double peek. And Greyhound knock it up to a 5-1. I don't believe Gratisfaction has died yet. Nope, he hasn't.
Oh, wow. Playing the passive setup with tonight, eh? Bait line on quad, defensive warp. If he keeps going like this, he's going to have great economy in an all match.
I believe I actually remember watching a match a while back where somebody went 13 rounds without dying.
Oh, wow.
And it was beautiful to watch, and then all of a sudden we just got sad when he did die. In any case, James looking for that early A push aggression, but it will be countered instantly by Dexter. Just getting right in there, trying to throw that damage back at him. The only difference this time round, though, is we see Andy on that AWP. Just puts that smoke down, just sort of reiterating the fact that these boys have got nowhere to go towards A. Almost pushing them towards that B site, or at least having to take mid control whilst they have that 3-man stack on the A site. Burn has that secondary AWP to play in mid. Andy, he'll just back away. There's nothing much that Darksider can do from this position. And Greyhound, they are forcing them just towards this B site, and no! Burn can't hit. And that would have been his head absolutely gone. Gratisfaction is just going to back away. And peek down bottom mid, spots and drops James. And now the bomb heading towards the B site. There's only one way in, one way out at the moment. And sadly, both of those are going to be through Burn's AWP.
30 seconds on the clock. Pressure's on.
Will fall. Void just tapping away. We'll be able to know. Doesn't even manage to drop Burn. Dick Stacey able to drop Andy. Burn through the smoke. Just misses the shot onto SK. Trying, but Dick Stacey picks up the final 3.
Huge from Dick Stacey, and we haven't seen a big match from Dick Stacey yet. Not really because he can't go big. Not really needed. To see him doing that tonight, it's exciting to see.
Oh, I'd just love to see Dick Stacey go big. If he can, it's just when he's on fire, he's on fire. That's all that matters. Greyhound, however, I mean, Urcast, he's gone for the MP9. This is the read of a good IGL. If your in-game leader knows their economy to a T, knows what sort of buy they're going to put up, gives you that MP9, what more can he ask for? Dexter is pushed in, will be able to Molotov off that spot, but Void's just going to push in front of him, and Void will be able to pick up the kill. Gretz his hands on the AK, but Gratisfaction won't be pushing him. The nade, though, comes on through. Kobe will smash him. Gret, just misses the shot onto James. Tries with the deagle. Expecting a second player pushing from A main. Won't be able to find that. Dick Stacey gets that trade. And instantly, Darksider now will be another man down. Gratisfaction holds off. SK will drop. Noisia playing around white box. Annihilates Dick Stacey. But Gratisfaction, he's absolutely on one tonight. He must be pinging off the walls. He's got to... I was hoping he'd go for that jumping AWP, but no, Urcast will hold on. Annihilates Andy as he pushed out. And Greyhound 7-1. Wow.
And Gret 9-0. Yeah. Oh, you might break your record. 13 rounds, right? No deaths?
I think we're just going to have to see. This is going to be... if Gratisfaction can hold on and just keep fragging hard, it might not just be that he doesn't die for 13 rounds. It might also be that we see Greyhound 16-1. That could be the difference here. But Darksided, they're giving up so much to Greyhound so early. They're not pushing... I'd quite like to see them making at least an attempt to push in, but Gratisfaction will drop James. If they play it early in the round, just put a couple flashes in, force Greyhound back and take your own A main control. Urcast, he's getting aggressive into B main, drops Noisia. What's the point of having an AK if you're not going to shoot him? In any case, Andy is looking to push up highway. Not expecting a player to come behind him. That little bit of noise towards vents. The noise didn't need to be made. Dex is able to drop Andy. Burn can drop SK. And Void left 1v5. He's got the SG. Pops off a few shots. Doesn't hit much. But he's going to get dropped by Urcast. And my key thing there is, why pop that vent? You've just given away you've got someone at least in mid. It made him turn around and look towards highway.
Yeah, that's right.
There's...
Giving away that information is not necessary. Darkside are really struggling to get into this game. I thought they would be a lot, they'd be presenting a lot more presence. These rounds aren't even close so far.
I mean, except for the single round they won. That's the only close round that I can say that we've honestly had. And it was only because both CTs decided to save. But Burn, even he can hit the shots onto James. Noisia's looking to peek around as well. Coming down the other side of that smoke. Burn will be able to put it down. Peeks through. Noisia, though, he's already gotten close. He's even closer. He's underneath it. Burn hits the flick down. Usually one of the hardest flicks to hit. Dexter from Highway drops Andy. The second player peeking around is Void. He's going to take a bit of damage. But the A side is open. The bomb, however, all the way back at T-spawn. The aggression is coming in from, I believe that'll be someone like Dexter or Urcast. Dexter will fall. Burn drops Void. And now SK Dick Stacy's the man getting aggressive. Annihilates him. 3k for Burn on that orb.
So you're dark-sided right now. What do you do? What do you call? IGL. How do you get your team back on track?
I'm going to call a timeout.
A timeout, yes.
That's the first thing I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be saying that if we can't take any sort of control, we're just going to hold some very odd off angles. We're going to play back on that truck in T-spawn. We're going to try and get that pick into mid. We're going to try and at least force them to push us and take advantage of it. Get those frags. The problem is, Darksiders just aren't connecting. Except for right now, while Greatest Faction's down on 15 points of health.
Yeah, well, James at the moment is currently donating, which is pretty unusual. Might be time to check an AWP into his hands, see what he can do with that.
Maybe.
Often a player, when he's not aiming so well with the rifles or the pistols, you know, just to slow him down, his tempo, an AWP can get that player back into the game.
Dexter, he just gets the easy kill on Andy, and you saw it coming as soon as he went up and he scoped. Dick Stacy was sitting right underneath it. He would have heard that Dexter was ready to peek. And Urcast, he's able to peek right over the top of the smoke. James will fall. Already, just Greatest Faction, he's tagged, but he's just hiding now. He doesn't want to die. SK's going to fall. Dick Stacy, yet again, Urcast drops Noisia. Void picks up one. That's Urcast down, but Burn is in there.
Domination, wow. And that puts James on 0 for 10 right now. I mean, he is a respectable player. To be 0-10? Like, get your head in the game, bro. I know what you can do. You're a national hero in some ways. You know, you've got people looking up to you.
And then you look on the other side, you've got Greatest Faction 10 and 0. It's difficult to understand how this is going so poorly for Darksided. And I do wonder, this time 4-man stack straight into A main. SK drops Dexter, doesn't give them that early map control. Now Greatest Faction, he puts out a little bit of utility himself. He'll be waiting for at least one of these players to push. He just puts down the HE. Doesn't do much damage, but he knows that he's held those players back for another second. Flash comes through, he backs away. He can pop off a shot any time here. He misses, but no, Burn is there to save him. Drops James, Dick Stacy drops Noisia, but Void's there. Burn, the second one. Making this go big. Greatest Faction will drop Andy. And SK now, 1 versus 3. If he can kill Greatest Faction, give him his first death, he could be in with a chance here, but Urkaz from behind. The flanks are so fast. Greyhound are absolutely on top. And once more, Burn kills from the AWP. Greatest Faction kills from the AWP. Dark-sided. They're out of this.
Still early days, still early days. 12 rounds in. We can go with them. They just gotta find their measure. We saw this last week. They delayed their momentum. They just struggled to get into the game. Things can change. We believe it can change. I believe Darksided has the skill to be able to match these guys. The teamwork right now, the chemistry, it's not going in their favor.
Well, I mean, I'm having a look at the veto, and, you know, Darksided, they pick the map. So that's, I suppose, the key to me. Noisia is able to drop Burn. He's pushing through. He's trying to get another. Andy's dropped Dexter. This is the chance. Noisia, he's playing over the top of the smoke. He must know that he's not on site now. Urkast will fall at the hands of Andy. Now Greatest Faction and Dick Stacy. 2 versus 3. Greatest Faction just going to back out. Spots Void. Will kill him. Still keeping Greatest Faction invincible. Dick Stacy, though, he's got the bomb. Andy has to come and get it. Greatest Faction holding a second angle on the bomb. Puts a smoke deep, puts a nade through. Andy, goodbye! Gratis Kobe. And Noisia, he's got his hands on an AWP. But what can he do with it? He has to find 2 plays. He's got 45 seconds. He's got a smoke. He's just going to try and smoke the other side of the bomb. He can guarantee Dick Stacy, as soon as he suspects the player of pushing, there'll be a couple of shots through that smoke. And they'll know when that bomb is gone. Just pushes on it, pops a couple shots off. But Greatest Faction through the smoke will drop Noisia, keeps his perfect record of 4K. $16,000 on nearly every player.
Going all the way, 16-0. What is this? Our Kiwi boy from Gisborne representing.
I do wonder if maybe Darksided are hoping to have an absolutely amazing, outstanding, stunning, fabulous CT side.
Well, yeah, I mean...
They kind of have to plan for that now, don't they?
They have to. They don't really have a choice.
Noja, though, will be able to get the first kill onto Burn. Sadly, Gratisfaction over on the A site trades that straight on back. Dexter holding an angle onto Squeaky. If Void pushes this, it'll be all over for him, but Dexter will just be able to hold on. Spots Void, drops him. Expecting SK and Andy out next. Andy looking to find Gratisfaction. He takes damage from that HE. Instantly, the utility usage comes out from Greyhound when they feel that push coming. And all of a sudden, Darksided, they've had to back off. They're already back out of A main. Dexter, he pushes in aggressive, looking for just more frags. And now they've got all this information. They can rotate at least one more player back towards B. Andy, though, he's still holding. He spots and drops Dexter, though. It leaves A main wide open, but you've got Gratisfaction still sitting on that A site. Three versus 3. SK has got that mid control. Will pop the vent, but that gives away yet again more information. Andy and Noja just looking to play towards B, and instantly that player drop down vents. Dick Stacey and Urkas just going to hold a crossfire, preventing that push straight from the main and preventing the push from Checkers. Shots firing through. Dick Stacey drops SK. Flash is going up from Urkas, picks up one. Should be able to drop Noja. Will do, in fact. And Andy now 1v3. Come on, Grant. Oh!
This guy's huge! What's going on? Through the wall!
That was absolutely beautiful from Gratisfaction.
He can't miss!
He's giving me the satisfaction of the Gratisfaction right now.
Goes through walls, with grenades, everything. Like, no matter where he chucks it, where he shoots it, it's hitting something.
Oh, this
Form
man.
of his life right now. This is insane. And this is a respectable team that has been playing really well lately.
I have to say, though, in the nicest possible way, is Gratisfaction on the form of his life, or a dark-sided just not here today? I do have to wonder, but Urkast has picked himself up a couple more. Even reloading, they can't catch him out. He'll put the flash down. He'll peek right side, he peeks left side. He's going to peek both sides. SK finally picks him up, but it's a 2 versus 4. Dick Stacey's already pushing into mid, trying to come through with these big dick plays, but Andy will fall. And SK, he's going to take that nade. Down to 92. Only takes a little bit of damage. Dick Stacey, he's going to re-peek. He's going to try and refrag this. Dexter, still looking for something. I think Gratisfaction just swapped Orps out. I'm not too sure at the moment. But SK, he just falls in a 14-1 half.
1 and look, 0 and 14 for James. Where's the hype train?
I can't find a train at the moment. The station's gone, the train's gone.
Big pistol round from James. Let's go, man. Come on.
He needs the ace here.
Yeah, you don't forget when you go donut. When you go donut at a match, you don't forget that. That haunts you. It's like kicking. It's like missing a soccer ball when you're going for an open goal and completely missing the ball, completely. You know, between the legs. You don't want a donut a match.
Okay.
Haunts you forever.
The fact that they've boosted him straight over Red Bin, so they don't have any idea that he's actually on that side of the mid warehouse, and he peeks out and it instantly surprises SK. It's a very minor tag, but it's still a tag. Dexter has that confidence. He's gotten a smoke, P250 and a flash. He's happy enough to keep playing around here. Greyhound have still got those 4 sets of armor, but Dark-Sided, they've just gone for the full armor. They need kills. They need everything they can possibly get. It is still going to be a little bit slow. Greyhound have a minute to play with. And it feels weird saying Greyhound have a minute, but it just feels like they're so in control of the match. It's almost like you're saying Dark-Sided have to hold on for a minute. Dexter just peeking around. Urkast just looking for something. Looking to find possibly James if he peeks any closer. Oh, nice little tap. Spots him, drops him. Andy will fall as well. Noja goes down to the hands of Grant.
Free A.
No, Gratisfaction. No, he's gonna die. Oh, Lord. But
the
the
bomb's
bomb's
sight. You couldn't ask for a better fate.
You can't. And Gratisfaction has given up his one and only life for that.
Oh,
he doesn't actually get to respawn after this. He doesn't get to respawn. He'll respawn in about 3 days or something like that. but Dexter drops Void. SK looking for absolutely anything here. He needs to get at least 2 of these kills, and then beyond that, bomb. He needs all 3, really. He's in a rock. He is the hard place. He's the rock. He's everything.
What a wrap-up. 15-1.
On an even more negative note,
Mission
James
impossible
is
right now for the
still with
CT
donut.
players.
James still has that nice 0, which is relatively unlucky. And it almost feels bad at this moment. I mean, how much hype went into this dark-sided lineup?
Well, I mean, they just weren't ready for this occasion. That's it. They have potential. They can come back from this. It's going to be painful, but they're not going to come back from it this match. I can't see that. But they're a formidable team with a crazy amount of skill.
Just not against Greyhound. That's probably the best way to put it. They are a formidable team, a great amount of skill, but then definitely not at Greyhound's level right now. Nobody's at Greyhound's level.
Right now, Order, Tainted Minds, and Greyhounds, they're on another level. And with Chiefs right behind them, like, that's where we're at.
Yes, indeed.
We're gonna be, we're so lucky next week to see Greyhounds versus Tainted Minds. Like, that's hype. Like, that's huge. Both these teams want to go into the finals as the favorite. Both these teams want to prove that they deserve to be regarded the best team in Australasia.
Look, you've got the man. He's got 0 kills. He
0
needs
kills.
something here.
Oh,
and he can't get it. Urkes cleans him up. He's out of the server. He's gone. He's absolutely. That's it. He's done. He's just. I don't know. He's absolutely done. He doesn't know. Nobody knows what happened there.
Oh.
At least they picked up a round.
Can that be a highlight or a low light?
It's a light. I don't know if it's shining, if it's turned on, if it's a broken bulb, if it's really anything.
You know, I would be, if I was his mate, I'd be buying a box of beers and I'd be going around to his place and cracking one open.
Sorry.
You know, like...
Take him some donuts as well, wouldn't you?
Give me a hug. I'm feeling for him.
We all feel for James right now.
James, man, we feel for you, bro. That was tough. But you'll bounce back, man. We got you. We know what you can do. Today was rough.
It's difficult, and you do have to wonder whether they will be able to come back for this next week. But I have to say, next week, we got Greyhound, we got Tainted Minds. That is going to be the absolute matchup of the season.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a stunner.
Yeah, and leading into the final, you know, these guys want to win this match because going into the final, it's that edge, you know, it's like, I gotcha.
It's the difference between who goes straight through to the final and who has to play that semi against that third place team, which at the moment it's definitely looking like it could be Corvidae.
Yeah, I'm really hyped about Corvidae. They were really impressive tonight. Low 1-2-3. Like, I thought that these two teams were quite evenly matched. But we saw a huge performance from Cruden. You know, like, that is class shining through and form at the same time.
Yeah.
Corvidae moving forward, proving their worth.
There's not much more you can ask for them. They've played amazingly. So you've seen Corvidae, they've almost cemented their third place spot. That 16-1 has just slipped them above for the simple fact that going negative 15 at any point in time is going to seriously harm, I suppose, any chance of making those finals. The key, I suppose, for Darksided now is to come back next week and just go hard. They can't, it's go hard or it is go home.
Yes.
Next week pretty much decides exactly who we're going to be seeing in those finals, whether it'll be Greyhound or Tainted finishing in that first spot, whether we're going to see Corvidae finish it in third. Will we see Order come through with an upset? Will we see Law 1-2-3 get their first win? Is this just going to be an absolute frag fest?
Yeah, we've seen some breakout players coming out of this tournament as well. IN especially. Like, I think it's brought attention to him and his ability, you know, where he comes from and what he can do for this team. Corvidae tonight, he just had an average game for him, but he made plays when he was needed. And again, we saw more depth from Corvidae with with Cruden stepping up, while some of the star players like Herbs were laying back and not even getting double-digit frags. Like,
it's rather unlucky. You'd like to think that maybe I'm going to say it now. I think it's going to be Tainted, Greyhound, and Corvidae coming over to New Zealand. Now, obviously, I don't know who's going to finish that top spot. and I feel like I know who's going to finish in that third spot, but that all comes down to next week, and I'm relatively sure that, you know, this is going to be an amazing set of finals that we will have coming up.
So, on you right now, between Tainted Minds and Corvidae, well, Tainted Minds and Greyhounds, what's your pick?
Greyhound.
You were Greyhounds, because you were with Tainted Minds earlier.
No, I was supporting Tainted Minds because they were beating...
So you jump shot. I mean, I'm a huge Grat fan.
I love Grat.
Faction. He's the man, right? But I think Tainted Minds might have their measure at the moment. I think, for me, Ince showing up has changed the dynamics of this team. I think moving forward, if he keeps playing and keeps performing, Tainted Minds have a notch on them. And what I do like, let me interrupt you, is just
Go ahead.
just their progression, their discipline. You know, tonight we saw them playing really disciplined with their strategies and tactics, and they never really break out of the system that they have. I like that. I think Greyhounds, I mean, they do have a lot more flow, but I think against Tainted Minds, that structure might just find them out in a couple areas.
I suppose, from what we saw tonight, neither team was playing against an amazing opposition. Like, I suppose Tainted, they came out against Order. Order didn't play at their finest, and maybe went a little bit overboard with some of the things we may have said about their play, and I do apologise for that, but they weren't playing as an amazing team, and that's the very least I can say. Dark-Sided, I don't know if they were playing as a team. They got a few frags, but nothing worked out for them. Both of these teams will play more games later this week or over the weekend, or at least before we see them next week. And maybe then, I don't know exactly what way they're going to go in what leagues, but it could be the difference, I suppose, between an amazing matchup between them and the tightest matchup we will see, and possibly, I'm hoping, for the first overtime of this Alpha Series.
Yeah, Let's Play Live and this Alpha Invitational Tournament, what it does for CS and all of New Zealand is exceptional. It really creates a lot of growth. You know, New Zealand players just get really excited, and you know they look to create teams, and for young people it allows them to, you know, create logos and brands and reach out there and connect with, you know, people from all over the country. And you know what, it allows people to meet people from all over the world. I mean, look at FaZe Has, a YouTuber, also a CS player. Yeah, an amazing guy, and people get to see him every day online, and he's a Kiwi boy. You know, like, he is growing up, and he's got a career in this field, and it's a dream.
Yeah.
He's living the dream.
I mean,
for
you
a
talk
role
about
model.
international, and I mean, like, I'm initially from England, and I've met you in New Zealand. That's basically international. It wasn't actually because of CSGO, but, you know, I've basically met you through CSGO.
Yeah.
And it brings people together.
It does bring people together.
To the point where I'm even hugging you.
Yeah.
But
High five, man.
other than that, that is going to do it from us here tonight. My name has been Nutters.
And I'm Wayfarer.
Back to you, Dallas.
Thank you very much for that, Nutters. And Wayfarer, what an absolute great little chat you guys were having there. I was enjoying that.
Most definitely.
And there we have it. We do see Greyhound in absolute dominant fashion taking down Darksided. And I know I was one saying, you know, I think this is going to be a good matchup. You know, we're going to get to see Darksided playing under the new banner. They're going to get to take it to Greyhound. But Greyhound, there was no mucking around this week, Tom. They were right in there, finishing that one up 16-1.
Yeah, no, Greyhounds pretty much just showed no mercy from the start of the game there. They gave the Darksided team pretty much no space to move. If you see, they controlled it with the sniper rifles. They basically controlled the A bomb site and took control of the A warehouse, and they controlled the mid. So basically, as Darksided, they just couldn't get any picks anywhere. They couldn't get any opening frags or anything, and the sniper rifles basically just dominated.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Gratisfaction obviously getting his satisfaction there, almost finishing up the game with 0 deaths, which would have been absolutely amazing. Any other sort of performances you want to touch on?
Burner, Are You OK actually played really well as well. He was double their secondary AWP for that game, and every time they went to B, he pretty much just locked them down and smashed them with the snipers.
And I mean, obviously for the side of Darksided, you know, a few like sort of mismatched performances there. You know, a couple of moments, they did at least get themselves one round there, but it'll be exciting to see obviously what they can bring next week. Anything else sort of to mention on the Darksided side of things?
Well, obviously their captain, in-game leader, didn't have a very good game. He didn't manage to pick up any kills, which was a bit unfortunate and may hit his ego slightly, but he should be alright coming in for next week. He's a solid player, and I'm sure he can bounce back quite easily.
Yeah, most definitely.
I feel like Void, maybe he could have done a bit more in the like A squeaky area. The first round he sort of opened it up a little, but apart from them I didn't really see much more from him, and I was bit disappointed with that.
And I mean, another thing, we're going to have a look at the standings now to see obviously how that stacked up, because that was such an important game for Darksided, you know, especially losing in such a sort of, you know, I guess, you know, bad fashion in a sense, you know, going down 16-1 doesn't do wonders for their round difference there. But just having a look at tonight's results, Tainted Minds taking down Order 16-8, you know, great performance coming out from Order, but Tainted Minds did get them there in the end. Corvidae picking up their game against LOL 1-2-3, 16-13, very scrappy game there, but Corvidae did just manage to take flight and get things done. And to finish off the night there, Darksided, you know, getting taken down by Greyhound 16-1. Now, having a look at the updated standings with Greyhound Gaming coming in with that huge game there against Darksided, going to be taking over the first place position. Looking good for the first spot there for the LAN. Tainted Minds dropping down to second. Now, the big other switch we've seen here as well is now Darksided dropping down to fourth. Corvidae picking up into third place there, so now looking like they're going to be the ones taking into the LAN final in LOL 1-2-3 in Order. Still looking to get their first win on the board. So how do you feel about tonight's matches and how that's sort of shaping up now?
I feel like the tournament's sort of hitting the peak end now. Most of the teams sort of know which position they're going to take or which position they want to take. It's sort of come down to between Darksided and Corvidae for that third spot now. I feel like LOL 1-2-3, they can try and win their last two games and see what happens, but they might have left it a bit too late. I feel like next week's definitely going to be decide who finishes first with Tainted and Greyhounds. Basically, whoever wins that is going to be qualifying in the first slot. And overall, it was a pretty good solid week. I feel like next week will be more finding out who's going to finish where and what positions, but this week was very good to see how some of the teams performed and how they'll perform next week.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll get into having a look at next week's schedule when we can there, because obviously that's the important one, the big one. The first match next week, Thursday 8 PM here live on either Let's Play Live or Sky Sports, going to be Greyhound Gaming taking on Tainted Minds, both battling it out for that first place spot. Then after that, we've got Corvidae taking on Order. Obviously, Order looking better and better each week. Would be amazing to see them upset Corvidae there. And to finish off next Thursday, we'll have a LOL 1-2-3 taking on Darksided. LOL 1-2-3 are still looking for their first win, obviously, in Darksided. Looking to probably do a little bit better than this week.
Yeah. There's probably going to have to be a few upsets next week. I feel like a few teams will be banking on Order maybe having a good game and throwing an upset on Corvidae there, which will give a chance for Darksided and for LOL 1-2-3 to potentially qualify. But at this stage, it's looking like we're going to have to see an upset or two to see one of LOL 1-2-3 or Darksided go through in that third spot.
Yes, I mean, that's very interesting, and that's, I guess, the interesting thing about our tournament there. You know, if you've been paying attention there, you can see obviously if LOL 1-2-3 managed to pick themselves up, I mean, if Darksided managed to pick themselves up a win against LOL 1-2-3 and Corvidae get upset by Order, then, you know, it just throws a huge mix back into the standings there. But I guess any sort of final points you want to make on tonight's matchups or the night as a whole?
It was a good night overall. Most teams played quite well. I feel like Order showed a bit more than they did last week, which was good. And Tainted and Greyhounds, I guess they showed their dominance again this week, pretty much pummeling the teams they've been playing. And maybe LOL 1-2-3, I was a little bit disappointed with them. I felt like they could have offered a little bit more, but overall it was a good week.
Who was your standout player tonight?
I have to go with Gratisfaction there. On that last map, he was pretty much just shredding it up. He played really well, and to only die once in a game, it's a pretty good achievement. Yeah,
that was pretty impressive to watch. I'm personally just going to go with Cruden there. He was absolutely amazing. But coming up now, obviously next week, we're going to have our Dragon Ball Fighters. It's going to be the Wellington Regional Championship, and that'll be on Wednesday night, March the 7th, starting at 8 PM New Zealand time. Either check it out on Twitch or on Sky Sport, and obviously make sure you're back here next Thursday for the Alpha Series. It's going to be week number 4. Lots of exciting things to look forward to here on Let's Play Live. But I think it's been an absolutely wonderful week number 3. You know, we start seeing obviously all these teams sort of shaking up. I can't wait for a couple of upsets.
No,
maybe
I'm waiting
in overtime.
for a couple of upsets. That should be good.
Yeah, that should be great. But from all of us here at Let's Play Live, I've been Dallas EC Fighty,
Thomas Blackout Richmond,
the man himself, from the casters as well, and all of our production. Thank you so very much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week.
This presentation is brought to you by Logitech G, game with passion, win with science. And Samsung, redefine the game.